Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Issei got both heavenly sacred gear and harem? Before I start, please do support for more awesome content and subscribe my channel and like this video. Go support and follow the JCT1345 for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. Let's start this video. Wow, Murayama. You got much bigger over the break, didn't you? A pink-haired girl commented at her friends exposed as she began to undress herself. You must be getting much more attention from the boys, right? Hardly. Murayama exclaimed, turning away from her friend in embarrassment. The only guys who have been looking at me are those two disgusting perverts. Which reminds me, we better get dressed fast. I bet they're peeking on us right as we speak. No way. The pink-haired girl cried out. If some creep was peeking on us right now, I would just die of embarrassment. Outside the woman's locker room, a few hundred meters away. The boy stood alone atop a hill, his messy hair danced in the wind as a smug-looking grin formed across his face. He was pretty decent looking for a boy his age, symmetrical face, good build. The only thing that really stood out was the shining gold iris that occupied his right eyeball. Sorry ladies. The boy thought to himself. But I'm an adolescent male with a healthy libido, how do you expect me not to look? Using that strange eye of his, the boy was able to see clearly through the wall even from that distance. This is a tremendous misuse of my power. I always knew that of all the time we'd be together, I'd regret your adolescent years the most. A mysterious voice full of power and wisdom echoed in the boy's head. If you say so. I can't think of anything better to do with my free time. I'm open to suggestions. The boy answered mentally, but before the other voice could answer. Hey you two. What the hell are you doing here? The angry voices of young women rang from below. Huh? I guess those two idiots were caught. Well, I guess we better leave too. The boy picked a small school bag off the ground and calmly exited the scene as his golden eye faded back to its standard brown color. My name is Issei Haidu. The boy strangely began to monologue to himself. I'm a second year at Kuo and… What are you doing? I don't know. I just kinda felt like I had to introduce myself and go over my origin. It's super weird. Oh yeah, I'm getting that feeling too. I'm Yinglong, an ancient dragon who was once praised as a god. But after I was first killed, I was stripped of my divinity and sealed into the sacred gear, the golden eye. Man, I love that game. Issei smirked as he exited the campus. I'm thinking of picking up some ramen on the way home, are you hungry? I don't have a mouth or stomach, but sure knock yourself out. Oh yeah, sorry. I'll have 2 bowls in your honor. Issei smiled as he began to stroll down the street. I think I'll hit up the shop downtown, it's a bit out of the way, but it's a Friday and it's the best in town. Issei Haidu, a soft voice called out from behind him, prompting him to turn around. A beautiful young girl with dark black hair and soft kind eyes stood with a nervous posture behind Issei. My name is Yuma Amano, it's nice to meet you. Ha. I wouldn't exactly say it's Shakespeare, but not too bad. Yeah, nice to meet you. Issei said with a raised eyebrow as he had no idea who this person was. So what's the deal? That's not a cool uniform, so you don't go here. How do you know who I am? Oh, I'm sorry, I've seen you walking this way before and I've always been curious. Her face lit up in a bright red and she quickly clasped her hands together. Do you have a girlfriend? Oh, for the love of come on. Issei cracked a confident smile as he walked towards the shy girl. Girlfriend, no. Issei got well within her personal space. He was a good few inches taller than Yuma, so he looked down with a face, posture, and demeanor that all exuded confidence and charm. You wouldn't happen to be interested, would you? You are, well, I mean. If you want to go out maybe, sometime, I don't know. She stumbled over her words a bit, clearly not expecting to be pressured this way, and her face turned a different shade of red. Oh, wow. That was actually some pretty good acting, either that or it was genuine. Well, how about Sunday? I don't have any plans. Issei continued to ignore the dragon as he made his plans. Sure, that sounds great. The girl nodded, and with the plans made, Yuma turned around and made her leave for the time being. Seriously, you know she's a fallen angel, right? You're totally getting played. Of course I know she's a fallen angel, but damn is she good looking. Issei's right iris flashed from brown to bright gold. Hate to see her glow but love to watch her leave. He could say small black waves emanating from her body. See, she's not that strong. Even if this is a setup, it's nothing to worry about. Unless she's concealing her power level. If she's that strong, why bother with seduction at all? Why not just kill me and get it over with? Then again, I am irresistible. You're too reckless sometimes, partner, it can be infuriating. Not every move I make requires complex tactics. I'm going on a date, not conquering China. This town is full of devils and shit, they all seem pretty friendly. Maybe she's just trying to blend in too. Clearly you don't know how things work, be careful. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out. Issei smiled at that. Oh god, shut up. Weren't you getting ramen or something? Oh yeah, ramen time. Issei was about to continue his journey towards brothy goodness when another voice called out to him. That was a bad decision, a quite feminine voice said from a nearby tree, and then a silver-haired girl with a small build and yellow jumped out from the chest, landing in front of Issei. This one's a devil. Yeah no shit, this is Kaneko Taoju, the school mascot. She's part of the occult research club, so I'm pretty sure she's running with Ria's Gremory, one of those stronger devils from my school. I guess she was watching me. Let's see what she wants. What do you want? Wow, creative. Is that your sacred gear? She asked, pointed at Issei's golden iris. Shit, I didn't turn that off. Well, I guess she's got me all figured out now, no use hiding it anymore. Partner, don't. Not exactly want to see the real thing? Issei asked, and Kaneko slowly began to nod. Alright, here it goes. The bright flash of golden light bursted from Issei's eye, forcing Kaneko to cover her face to protect her own vision. After the light subsided, Issei's eye was completely black with a single sliver of gold that made up his reptilian pupil. Well, what do you think? Pretty cool, right? Issei struck a pose like a superhero, clearly proud of his gift. Scary, Kaneko said timidly. In fact, she looked pretty put off by Issei's sudden change in appearance. Well, that's not the reaction I was hoping for. Issei sank with disappointment. So is that what you use to talk to girls while they're changing? Kaneko said straight up, catching Issei off guard. Wait, what? How did you know about that? Shit, I just confessed. Women always know, pervert. Kaneko's words had slowly grown sharper, and they were able to cut deep into her prideful senpai. I'm ashamed, Issei dropped to his knees in defeat. What the hell did you want anyway, and there's no use being discreet. I know you're a devil. That doesn't matter, what you just did wasn't a good idea. She's a fallen angel, she's trying to trick you. Kaneko changed the subject. Oh, that's cute, my kohai is jealous. Don't be scared, no woman can hold me down for long. I'm sure you'll get your chance. Is put his smug face back on, but Kaneko didn't react. Look, I know she's a fallen angel, you and Yinglong both need to back off, I'll be fine. Issei tried to step past Kaneko, but she moved to block his past, then he tried the other way and she moved again. Look, I don't know what you're doing here, but whatever it is, we're done talking. No, you need to explain yourself. Kaneko said as she stood strong. Issei sighed. Sorry about this. His eye once again flashed with powerful light, but this was even stronger than before, leaving Kaneko totally blind for the moment. When the light subsided again, Issei was gone, left without a trace. At a ramen shop, downtown Kuo. Partner, you know what I told you about revealing yourself. You know, not to. She figured us out anyway. Besides, it's about time we showed those devils that we mean business. Issei thought as he silently scooped up some noodles in his chopsticks. Then I'll scold you for something else. I see everything you see, so I know you were using my vision to stare at her panties throughout the whole conversation. Issei didn't reply. He just scooped up some more noodles with a satisfied smile on his face. Meanwhile, at the occult research club. Kaneko, what are you doing back here? I thought I asked you to tail the person of interest. A girl with beautiful red hair and the body and face to match asked with deep concern in her voice from behind a large wooden desk. Sorry, but he was confronted by a fallen angel and I felt it necessary to confront him. Then he managed to escape. Kaneko lowered her head in shame of defeat. Well, that's disappointing, but it's not your fault. The red-haired girl placed a comforting hand on Kaneko's shoulder, reassuring her. Did you manage to learn anything about him? Yes, but you was right. He possesses a unique and I believe dragon-type sacred gear. It has the ability to generate powerful light. Kaneko listened and Rias quickly jotted it down on a piece of paper. Good. Anything else? He mentioned someone named Yinglong, Kaneko said after a moment of deep thought. Ria's eyes widened in surprise. Yinglong, okay, that's a lot to digest. Yes. Kaneko said intently. He's a total perv. Sunday around 1-ish. I've only been here a few minutes, but I just can't help but be worried she's not gonna show, Issei thought to himself as he stood patiently at the train station. He was wearing a black hooded jacket, unzipped with a white t-shirt and blue jeans. Oh, is someone scared for their first date? Mr. acts tough but is still totally a virgin. I hope you're nervous, it's what you get for jumping into these situations without thinking things through first. I'm not nervous. Look, I understand that you're jealous, I mean you haven't been this close to scoring in what, 4,000 years? But I don't need your negativity. That's when Issei spotted Yuma. She was wearing a pink top with a short black skirt. Ha, look who's here. Now just watch me charm my way out of virginhood. Good luck with that. Call me when she's ready to kill you. The SSSHHH, as if that would ever happen, and with that Issei was off on his first date. Shopping at the mall, playing at the town's arcade, eating crepes. The two spent the whole afternoon indulging in whatever recreational activity they could find, much to the dismay of Issei's wallet. Eventually the sun began to set and the two of them found themselves alone in a park. "Well, I don't know about you, but I had a pretty good time today," Issei said with his standard smirk, trying to underplay his feelings. In reality, he had an incredible time with her today. "Well, now it's time to get my charm on. Goodbye virginity." "Yes, this was quite enjoyable," Rainer said with a kind of a sad smile. "But unfortunately all good things must come to an end." "Well, that sounds pretty ominous." "Nah, it's just my imagination, stupid Yunglong got me thinking negatively." "Yeah, well maybe I can see you again sometime." "No, unfortunately that's impossible." "Alright, now that sounds suspicious," Issei thought as he took a step away from the girl. "Hey, guess what?" "Oh, shut it." Issei silenced his dragon as he took a defensive stance, preparing for the worst. "Oh crap, I didn't realize I was boring you that badly. I guess that's my bad." "No, it's not that I'm sorry, but I have a mission to accomplish and I can't delay any longer." With that, Yuma began to emit a thin veil of purple light. "I told you so." "Oh my god. I get it. Hey, if she's gonna go ahead and transform to kill me, let's just activate our sacred gear and just blow her up." Now Issei's right eye emitted the same blinding light from before, but luckily Rainer was too busy with her own elaborate transformation sequence to notice. Rainer had sprouted wings and was now dressed in a slutty leather S&M outfit that she believed to be now human. "Will you die for what?" Rainer quickly moves her head out of the way as a fierce ray of golden light blows past her. "What the hell was that?" "Oh crap, I guessed I missed." Issei was standing in a relaxed position, his hands in his jacket pockets. Definitely not looking as intimidated as Yuma had hoped. "I won't miss this time, hope you're ready to die," Issei said in a kindred depressed voice. Another blast was fired from Issei's dragon eye, but Rainer was able to dodge it by taking to the air. "What the hell? You're actually trying to kill me? And what's going on with your attitude?" "Yeah, I'm gonna kill you. You wanted to kill me first." Issei was absent of all enthusiasm as his right eyeball began to charge another energy blast. "And I'm just kinda sad, you know. I liked you and stuff, and now I'm gonna have to vaporize your head. Plus I'm gonna be hearing about this for like months, and that's totally gonna be annoying. Now hold still, I'm gonna shoot you now." But that another golden laser beam fired from Issei's eye, but this time Rainer was too dumbfounded to dodge, so the blast hit her dead on in the dot. "Huh, well that was easy. Now I have enough time to go home and forget this day ever happened." With that, Issei turned away to leave the scene, but his fight wasn't over quite yet. "Ah ha ha ha." Yuma's twisted voice sounded off from behind him. "Foolish human attacks made of light can't harm Rainer. I'm one of God's perfect angels. Now die." She manifested a spear of blood-red light and hurled it at the back of Issei's head. "Oh, good to know." Issei stood still as the light spear came into contact with the back of his head. The spear then shattered into a million tiny pieces before fading away into nothingness. "What a coincidence, light doesn't hurt me either." Issei turned his head to look over his shoulder at the fallen angel. "Then I guess we're at a stalemate." Rainer carefully kept eye contact with as she started to plan her next move. "No, not really." Issei said, his cool demeanor sent shivers down his enemy's spine. "Unlike you, I'm no one-trick pony." But that a powerful gust of wind slammed into Rainer, knocking her away, but she eventually was able to regain herself before falling to the ground. What was that? "You can control the wind." Issei just kinda shrugged. "Yeah, something like that." Issei lifted his hand and a chain of light blue sparks danced between them. "But that's not all." He pointed his fingers towards Rainer and a powerful bolt of lightning flew forward, striking Rainer. Rainer's body began to tense and spasm as a huge amount of voltage surged through her body. "Wow, she can shake off a laser beam to the face, but not a little lightning. Something about that doesn't make sense." Issei commented as he walked over to the grounded fallen angel, more lightning charging in his fingers. Zap. "Well, this has been fun, but time to die." Issei's fingers charged with even more powerful lightning. "Wait, I gotta cover my tracks." Issei reached his hand into the sky and his right eye was completely overtaken by gold light, leaving no black. In the sky above, black clouds began to circle in and the sound of thunder cracking could be heard in the distance. "Partner, what do you think you're doing? If you're gonna summon a storm this large, you should be using your balance breaker. If not, you'll put too much strain on your body." Powerful winds and heavy rain swept through the city. "I'll be okay, and a balance breaker doesn't really sound like the best idea either. What a shame. This poor young girl had a fight with her boyfriend and ended up leaving the house in the middle of the night wearing some kinky S&M shit. The girl got caught up in this freak storm that showed up out of nowhere, causing the death of a lightning strike. Rainer began to shake in fear after hearing her own obituary and Issei's fingers charged with powerful lightning. Just what the hell are you? Rainer's eyes were full of terror as she looked up at her own demise. You're supposed to be just some human, how can you do this? What am I? Good question. I guess to someone like you, I'm a god. Oh wow, I don't even know what to say. It doesn't matter, this is game over. The sparks around Issei's fingers intensified as he prepared the kill shot. Wait. Issei's widened and his knees began to buckle. Crap. That's what? Once again I told you so. Your body can't handle using that much power for that long. Issei's sacred gear reverted to its original black and gold variation and he was forced to drop to his knees. Crap, this hurts. Rainer took the opportunity to flee the scene to safety and left Issei alone in the storm. Oh god, maybe this storm thing was a bad idea. You think? And yeah, if you don't get to shelter soon this storm will kill you. Your body is too weak and my power is too depleted right now that I can't protect you. Well then I gotta get moving, right? Let's go. Issei was able to force himself to stand and then attempt to take a step. Well, here goes nothing. As Issei's foot touched the ground, the rest of him fell to the ground. Ugh, my everything hurts. Am I dead? Issei slowly opened his eyes to find himself staring at an all too familiar looking ceiling. Wait, this is my room, in my apartment. Yinglong, status report. Well, you're probably the luckiest person alive. The storm didn't kill you. I won't tell you exactly what happened, I'm sure you can figure that much out on your own. I will tell you that you're at about 40% full power and I would take it easy for a while, no more hurricanes. What do you mean you won't tell me? Issei sat up in his bed and that's when he realized he'd been stripped. Okay, just what the hell is going on? Issei looked to his left and saw a human-shaped lump in his covers. Issei jumped out of his bed in shock. Holy shit, there's someone in my bed. He sat in silence for a moment to gather himself before eventually making a reach for his blankets. Wait. He disciplined himself mentally. Come on Issei, be smart about this. Issei's right iris began to shine a bright gold, allowing him to see through sheets and blankets without waking his sleeping guest. But upon discovering the truth, a small stream of blood began to trickle down from his nose. That's Ria's gremmery and she's naked. Oh wow. Someone is really perceptive. How long did it take you to figure out the naked part? Shut up. This is a big deal. Issei scolded the dragon as he tried to return to reason and calm his libido. Man, you're such a virgin. Grow a pair. Shut it, will you? That's not the big problem here. The problem is that some stranger broke into my house and is sleeping in my bed. I should just blast a hole in her and get it over with. Before you do that, you should probably know that this girl carried your unconscious body through wind and rain and saved your life. Maybe you could overlook the fact that she crashed at your house and helped to replenish you with magic before you killed her. Wait, really? She did that for me? But why? Maybe because she's a good person. But it's more likely she wishes to make you her servant. That's kin to what they do. Be her servant? Well, that's not gonna happen. The only person I serve is myself. Issei thought to himself with a smirk, thinking it sounded cool. I don't know, from what I hear it's not too bad. Immortality, demonic powers, and if you rank up high enough you'll be able to acquire servants of your own. I guess it really depends on who your master is, and from what I've seen of her so far she seems nice. Yeah, we'll see. It still sounds degrading. Issei said aloud to keep his eyes on the lump in the sheets as it began to move. It's morning. A groggy voice escaped from the sheets as a bush of red hair began to emerge. Once Ria's head had fully escaped the pillowy cave, she was met with a less than friendly glare. Oh, good morning Issei-kun. Okay, 2 questions. 1. Why on earth did you decide to sleep with me in my house, in my bed, without your clothes on? Secondly, who the hell gave you permission to use my first name? Issei tried to go for an interrogation approach, but his harsh tone and words did nothing to dampen Ria's cheerful mood and bright smile. Well, silly. After I found you unconscious in the middle of that hurricane you caused, I felt I needed to sleep with you to make sure you were in fact alright. I used my body to heal you all night long. As Ria said this, the blanket covering her fell off, and her enormous body was exposed right in front of Issei's eyes. Yeah, about that. You might want to put some clothes on. Issei made an effort to shield his eyes, not wanting to distract himself. Oh come on Issei. Kaneko told me about one of your abilities, I doubt it's anything you haven't already seen. Nonetheless, with a snap of her fingers and a flash of red light, Ria's had magically summoned a set of lingerie that covered all her unmentionables. And as for your second question. I didn't think I needed permission to use your first name, I am your senior after all. Damn, this is infuriating. It's like no matter what I say or do, I can't get power over the conversation. The way she's carrying herself, let's get one thing clear right now. I have every intention to make you my servant. I believe your power would make you an invaluable member to my family. Ria's light-hearted and cheerful personality had been replaced with one completely serious. Issei sighed, he sounded disappointed even though his assumptions had been spot on. Well, I suppose I do owe you. If that's truly what you want, then what's fair is fair. Wait, let me finish. I want you to be my servant, but I want it to be a decision you make 100% on your own. Ria shines a smile of reassurance at the confused boy. If I wanted you to be forced to join my family, I would have performed the ritual while you were unconscious. By choice, huh? I don't know if that was the best decision on your part. I am pretty busy. Maybe I'm too busy, you know. I'm guessing that all those occult research club members are all affiliated with you in some way. No offense, you guys are popular and whatever, but that's not really my crowd, you know. Why would I want to join you guys? Issei's self-confident smirk returned, and now he felt like he had control over the conversation. Is he doing what exactly? Yinglong asked as Riaz took a moment to think. Shut up. I do things. Yeah, right. Look. Riaz finally spoke up, interrupting the mental conversation. Like I said, your power is a valuable asset that I wish to acquire. I don't know a lot of humans who could overpower a fallen angel, even those who possess sacred gears. Your power is rare but irreplaceable. And unlike you, I have plenty of time to find a replacement. Okay, I get it. You don't need me, but why do I need you? Issei retaliated. That's simple, you don't. I don't offer you anything that you require to live, nothing you need. You have enough power to defend yourself, just need to work a bit on your decision making. You have good enough looks and intelligence to live a successful life. This got Issei to raise an eyebrow as Riaz pulled a notebook out of seemingly nowhere and began to read. Issei Haidu, second year. This one has an interesting aura about him, requiring further investigation, sacred gear confirmed. Issei wields a powerful dragon-type sacred gear with a light attribute, suspected connection to legendary dragon Yinglong, requires further investigation behavior, and personality. Issei Haidu is handsome and intelligent by human standards. People who have had conversations with him often regard him as both kind and polite. Strangely though, after a month at Kuo, Issei has yet to form any significant friendships to speak of. Riaz closed her book and looked up at Issei with serious eyes. You have no friends? Yeah, I noticed. Issei rolled his eyes, not wanting to let on just how embarrassed he was. And why is that? Is it because of your true feisty personality? It kinda caught me off guard, but I wouldn't say I dislike it per se. Is it the fact that you're a perv? No, most of the girls even in my grade have said that they would date you if they could. Issei started to grit his teeth as Riaz continued making her point. You want to hear my theory? I think that you're afraid of making those connections. You think because you're different that people will reject you if you're found out. And that. Riaz stopped as she was interrupted. No, that's not it. Issei spoke up. I'm very good at concealing myself. I'm not worried about being found out. I just don't do well in a high school environment, it makes me feel awkward. But maybe you're onto something. It would be nice to make some friends. Riaz perked back up. That's great, then why don't you? But I don't think that's how it works. Even if I agree to join your peerage, it doesn't mean I like or get along with any of the others. I mean, you all seem like nice people, but you never know, right? So I don't think that potential friendships are enough to sell me, sorry. Issei waved dismissively. I see your point. Riaz massaged her chin as she thought up a compromise. What if I let you join the occult research club first, that way you can get to know my peerage and see if you like them before becoming a devil. Join the occult research club. Issei repeated, thinking it over in his mind. That sounds pretty good. It's not like I'm actually that busy. Plus being in the same club as Kaneko Taoju, Akeno Himejima, and Riaz Gremory sounds like it could be intriguing. Alright, I'll agree to those terms. Great. I'll see you after class today. Then Riaz beamed a bright smile at the boy that made him flustered. Boohee, sure, see you then. Later, at school. Issei sat quietly at his desk, just looking out the window at the outside world, just thinking about recent events. So, are we actually doing this? The whole devil thing. I can't see any reason why we shouldn't. That girl seemed nice, and I know you liked all that attention she gave you. Just think of what immortality could mean for someone with your power. Plus it's been nice being awake, and I don't really want to go back to sleep for another 1,000 years. Who knows, your next wielder might be able to awaken you too, Issei, and Yinglong continued this mental conversation before being interrupted. Issei Haidu? Issei was confronted by two irritated-looking boys. One had scruffy hair and large foggy glasses. The other had a shaved head and large ears. Both of them got aggressively close to Issei. What the hell is with these rumors of you walking to school with Riaz Gremory? The boy with glasses accused Issei violently before being followed up by the one with the shaved head. Yeah man. She's off limits, dude. Excuse me. Issei answered with a smile, putting on his polite persona. I'm sorry, I'm still getting used to this school, and I don't want to be rude. What are your names again? Oh, damn. You really are polite. The shaved head boy jumped in shock. Damn you charming pretty boy. The glasses boy hissed. Hey. What are you two perverts doing talking to Haidu-kun? A girl yelled from the other side of the classroom. Yeah. You two need to go die or something, just leave him alone. I'm sure your perversion is contagious. Another girl added. Oh, calm down. The glasses pervert fires back at the girls. We're just looking for some answers here. Oh, so you're those two perverts everyone's been talking about. Issei spoke up again, but even those somewhat harsh words sounded warm and friendly. You know you should really stop behaving that way, it's not cool. Shut up. We aren't under interrogation here, you are. The boy with glasses refused to be sidetracked. Yeah, man. Tell us why you were hanging out with a total babe. The bald boy backtracked. Oh that, well I just wanted to ask her about joining the occult research club and so we were just talking about that. Issei smiled and waved off the issue. We aren't seeing each other or anything, so you guys don't have to worry. As far as I know both of us are still single. With that, both of the boys slowly backed away awkwardly, clearly feeling embarrassed for jumping to conclusions. Hey partner, have you ever considered theater? I think you have a calling for it. You know it's funny, I never even learned those losers' names. Issei turned back to daydreaming, but before he could fully doze off, he felt another presence looming over him. Oh great, this again. Why won't these assholes leave me alone? Oh, excuse me. Did you need anything else? But rather than finding the two perverts, Issei was met with another bright smile, shiny blonde hair. Issei Haidu, my name is Yudo Kiba and I was instructed by Butchu to bring you to the clubhouse if you aren't busy. Kiba then politely bowed to Issei. Oh, okay. I guess I'm not really busy. With that the two boys exited the room. The cult research club. Kiba opened the door and escorted Issei inside. Waiting for him was Ria's Gremory and the two other members, Kaneko Taoju and Akeno Himejima, both of whom were almost as popular around the school as Ria's herself. Hello Issei, I'm glad you could join us today. Ria smiled from her large wooden desk. I hope you'll introduce yourself to my peerage. I still don't know that I'm okay with where we stand on the whole using my first name thing, but yeah, I'll introduce myself. Issei turned to the other three who had seated themselves on couches surrounding a coffee table and politely bowed. My name is Issei Haidu, I'm a second-year student. I'm well aware that you guys are devils, but it's nice to meet you nevertheless. Oh, how polite. So the rumors are true. Akeno smiled. My name is Akeno Himejima, nice to meet you. We've already met, but I'm Yudo Kiba. A pleasure. Kiba bowed back. Now all attention was on Kaneko, the last to say anything. Pervert. Wait, what? Issei exclaimed as Kaneko turned away as she refused to look at Issei. Oh, I'm sorry Issei-kun. Akeno apologized to Kaneko. She seems to think you have an ability that lets you see through objects. Like women's clothing or the walls to a dressing room. Oh well, sweat began to roll down Issei's forehead. Really? Do you have such an ability? Despite her words, Akeno didn't look disappointed or upset, rather she continued to smile. That's no good Issei-kun, you shouldn't look at girls without their permission. She began to step closer to Issei, her sensual form only becoming more apparent to the boy. Besides, for someone cute like Issei-kun, you only have to ask. She got up right next to Issei and whispered into his ear. So, can you see me? I don't know. Issei got flustered and began to fidget as he began to feel Akeno's warmth against him. Akeno. Ria spoke up with a demanding voice. What do you think you're doing? Well, Butchu told us earlier to try our best to make Issei feel welcome and try to convince him to join us. Akeno explained. So I was convincing him. That's not what I meant. Ria's deadpanned. Whatever your reason, you need to stop. I wanted to bring Issei in today because we have a job to do and I wanted him to see us in action. I just got word from Ani-sama that there's a stray devil here in Kuo that we need to take care of. Wait, stray devil? Issei asked. I'll explain on the way. All I'll say now is, prepare your stomach. These things can get pretty nasty. Ria smiled, prompting Issei to take a nervous gulp. Later at a creepy old warehouse district. So you're sure she's here? Issei asked with a whisper, but was quickly shushed by Kaneko. Fine, I'll find out for myself. Issei summoned his sacred gear, and his eye went black as the golden pupil formed in the middle. Now Issei could see auras and easily located the devil. She's directly in front of us, in that warehouse. Issei pointed it out. It looks like she's hiding, and she might be eating something. He focused his vision. Yep, she's eating what looks like a person. So that ability does have beneficial uses. Who would have guessed? Kaneko commented coldly. Good job Issei. Ria said with a nod. Now let's move in. Kiba and Kaneko will create an opening, and Akeno will finish it off. Issei couldn't help but marvel at her natural leadership skills. Issei, Kaneko, Kiba, and Riaz all entered the building. Kaneko and Kiba took the lead as Issei and Riaz fell back. "Can we get a bit of light please?" "Right." Issei said as his eye illuminated like a flashlight, revealing the stray devil and all her gruesomeness. Gross. She stood at least 2 stories tall, her upper body was that of a beautiful woman, but the rest of her was monstrous and grotesque. She had 4 disgusting and vicious-looking legs and a beast-like body with a gaping mouth on her stomach. "Stray devil visor, you will pay for betraying your master. I will personally make sure of that," Riaz said as she struck a commanding pose. "Give it your best shot, princess. I'll kill you all." "Rog." Visor shrieked as she prepared her attack. "Kiba." Riaz gestured for her knight to attack, and Kiba disappeared in a burst of speed. Kiba is a knight, which increases his attribute of speed, making him formidable in combat. As she explained, Kiba demonstrated by slashing off the monster's 2 front legs with a blitz of super speed. "Alright Kaneko, you're up." Kaneko charged forward before leaping at Visor who managed to catch her in her mouth. "Kaneko." Issei called out, but Riaz was quick to reassure him. "Don't worry about her. Just watched." As Riaz said this, large thumps could be heard from inside the stray's mouth. Suddenly Visor's mouth was forced open by the small girl. The rook's attributes grant them super strength and durability. That lets them survive nearly any attack and dish out some damage in return. Kaneko then broke the monstrous jaw she was in, before sending Visor flying with a powerful punch. "Alright Akeno, finish this," Riaz said confidently, not paying attention as one of Visor's arms began to creep up on her. "Watch it." Issei pushed her out of the way before firing a golden blast of light at the arm, causing it to explode. "Hey Prez. Keep your guard up." Issei. "Why yeah, I know that," Riaz said, sounding slightly flustered. "Ah." Visor screamed. "Light. It burns. H. "Oh, so you could feel that." Akeno commented as she slowly approached the stray. "Well if you think that hurts, then you haven't seen anything yet." Akeno looked up with a crooked smile and a dazed look in her eyes. "Akeno is my queen, she's my most powerful piece." Riaz continued her explanation as Akeno began to laugh as she delivered shock after shock of powerful lightning magic to the stray. "She's also totally sadistic." "Interesting," Issei commented, not knowing what to make of the scene in front of him. "Enough. Enough. Just kill me already." Visor begged for death, prompting Riaz to step up. "I'll take it from here. Stray devil Visor. For your crimes against devils, I Riaz Gremory sentence you to death." With that a red magic circle appeared in front of Ria's hand and streams of red and black magic poured from it and onto Visor, totally disintegrating her. "And that takes care of that. So Issei, what do you think of my peerage?" Issei paused for a minute. "Definitely interesting. Which I gotta admit is much better than boring." After Visor had been defeated, Ria's peerage opted to teleport home, but Riaz herself chose to walk Issei home. "You don't have to do this, you know, I can walk by myself," Issei said bluntly. "Oh no it's alright, I insist. Besides, there's something I wanted to talk to you about." Riaz smiled, not really taking the hint. "I want to get to know you, especially if I'm gonna be your master soon." "Understandable. I guess the first thing we should clear up is, I'm not calling you master. I'm good with my boss, or the president or something else, but master isn't happening," Issei replied firmly. "Well for now, the president is fine with me," Riaz answered respectfully. "The next thing I want to ask you about is your sacred gear. I've never seen or heard of anything like it, and when I tried to cross-reference the ancient dragon Yinglong with known sacred gears, nothing really came up." "Really? That's weird. I'll have to ask about it." Then Issei suddenly went silent as if he was in deep thought. "Oh, well I suppose that makes sense. Yinglong said it's because he isn't really like most sacred gears." "Wait, did you mean to imply you just spoke to Yinglong?" Riaz exclaimed, nearly tumbling backwards as she did so. Issei then replied with a simple nod. "See, can he speak aloud?" Yeah," Issei answered. "Go ahead, say hi." "Greetings devil, I am the great dragon Yinglong." The booming, unbodied voice caused Riaz to shake a bit. "Wow, I'm a huge fan of your son." "Oh. Of course. Everyone loves him. All I ever did was help to form ancient China into a global superpower, not a whole lot. I mean I'm not some magical wish dragon who helped the Monkey King journey west, so why should I be remembered?" "Hold up, wait a minute. You have a son?" Issei raised a confused eyebrow. "Yes, and I'm sure you've heard of him. I am the father of all Chinese dragons including the famous Shenlong." "Whoa. No way. Your son's in. Don't say Dragon Ball." Issei didn't finish that statement. "Oh, I'm sorry Yinglong-sama. I didn't realize it was such a touchy subject." Riaz bowed and apologized. Could you please explain how you're different from most sacred gears? Yes, very well. It would be good to change the subject. First I shall tell you that the sacred gear is known as the Emperor's Eye, as I am known as the Emperor Dragon. Which makes me the Emperor Dragon Emperor, technically. Issei said with a disgruntled sigh. Pretty redundant title, huh? Anyway, most sacred gears were put in place by the biblical god. I was sealed in the eye by the collective power of the Chinese pantheon of gods, who were jealous of my popularity amongst the mortals. Also, with most of the traditional sacred gears, their hosts are selected at random. For me, I can only be passed on to the descendants of King Yu, the emperor who claimed me. Luckily, as with most royals, he was very good at distributing his descendants. Oh, so basically it's like a curse on the family. Ria said in a very analytical tone. Sort of, except the exact opposite, because curses generally suck and I'm awesome. Another thing is that I am notoriously hard to awaken in my host. To be honest, I don't really know how Issei managed it. I suppose he's just lucky. Ha. Luck has nothing to do with it. Issei did what he thought was a cool looking pose. In reality it was just cringy. One other thing which is much less rare among sacred gears but still worthy. Most sacred gears have one attribute, I have two. In the same vein, most sacred gears have one balance breaker, I have two. A storm variant and a light variant. So far Issei has only been able to access the light variant, and even that was unsuccessful. What? Issei can use a balance breaker? Riaz was once again shocked. No, I can't. I tried it out and it didn't work. Light is very hard to control, and that much light energy at one time can be explosive. Issei admitted in a ton of disappointment, but Riaz looked back at him with expectant eyes. Greg. Fine, I'll tell you. It happened 2 years ago. Flashback, 2 years ago. Rural Scotland. Ha. 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 A 15-year-old Issei was currently sprinting down hallways carrying a brown sack with a panicked expression on his face. Shit. 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 Thump. 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 The sound of titanic steps could be heard through the corridor, followed by a loud sound. Partner, it's getting closer. If you're gonna do something, do it now. On it. Issei confirmed a loud noise as he made his way to a nearby window. Before he jumped out, Issei turned around and summoned his sacred gear. First, let's buy us some time. Issei fired a blast of light at the roof, making the entire hallway unstable before jumping out of the building. Issei fell from multiple stories, but before he crashed into the earth, he caught himself on a gust of strong wind. Issei turned around and saw an entire wing of the castle he had just escaped from collapse into rubble. You think that stopped him? No, now it sounds like he's angry. The ground beneath Issei's feet began to rumble as debris from the fallen castle started to shake as well. From the pile of fallen rock emerged a headless giant made entirely of a dark gray stone. Fine. I guess it's time to fight. Issei declared as he charged up his optical blast. Take this. A powerful blast of light was fired into the creatures, but it simply bounced off, dealing no damage. Well. Something like that won't be able to hurt a golem. You'll have to be creative here. Alright, got it. Issei pointed both arms forward and sparks of electricity began to charge between them. Let's see how he handles 10 billion volts. A solid stream of electricity collided with the golem, but once again there was no effect. This time the golem tried to counterattack as it lifted a large piece of debris and hurled it at Issei, who was quick to jump out of the way. Partner, when I said be creative. I meant more creative than that. Those types of attacks won't work. It doesn't have skin or nerves, you can't burn or shock it. You must damage the body. Fine. Issei's eye filled with gold energy and a powerful whirlwind started to kick up behind him. If energy-based attacks don't work, I'll simply slice him in half. Furious whined. 2 blades of solidified wind slammed into the stone giant, but both of them shattered on impact. Huh? I guess the mage that created him used magic to reinforce him. Doesn't look like wind will work either. But that the golem charged, much faster than you'd ever imagine a boulder could. Issei managed to roll out of the way before a giant stone fist could crush him. Well then, do you have any ideas that might work? Issei asked as he dodged another swipe from the stone hand. Yeah, I don't know why you don't just use your balance breaker, that ought to take care of it. Wait, balance breaker? Issei's eyes widened. Wait, what's a balance breaker? Oh, yeah. I guess I really haven't filled you in on this yet. Well, to keep things short. You know those action anime you used to watch when you were a kid? It's like your super form. Whoa, I got a super move. Sweet, how do I do that? Issei asked, dodging another blow from the lumbering giant. It's weird. The first time has to be an emotional experience. It's not just something you can just do, you gotta make sure you want it. Your feelings have to be in the right place. This is an innuendo, by the way. Sum it up, please. Alright, just give me a good strong scream, and that ought to do it. Alright, I think I can do that. Balance break. As Issei screamed, his eye flashes white. Emperor Dragon balance breaker. There was a sudden all-encompassing flash before an enormous pillar of light began to erupt from where Issei was standing. The pillar suddenly began to expand outwards before collapsing into a wide explosion. The light eventually subsided, leaving a smoldering crater and an incapacitated Issei lying in the middle of that. Was that supposed to happen? No. Oh well, it looks like I got rid of the golem. Issei sat up and unzipped his sack, pulling out a small vase. And we came away with 18 ounces of living clay. How much you willing to bet this is worth? The real question should be, how many houses do you want to buy? Flashback ends. Yep, so that happened. All the power is there, but it's the control I don't have. Issei reluctantly admitted. My sacred gear is unique. Light magic isn't something that a human would typically be able to control, and I really can't. I can't create weapons of light or anything like that, I can just generate them. So maintaining that armor is naturally hard, so if I tried to use my balance breaker, I would just release all of that power at once. And the reason for that is because you're lazy and don't take the time to train properly. Your body conducts light magic the right way, you just neglect proper training. I don't neglect it, I just have other things to do. Issei snapped back. Like stealing living clay from Scottish castles. Riaz pointed out, getting Issei to sweat a bit. Care to explain yourself? Nothing to explain. Issei rebelliously crossed his arms. After my sacred gear suddenly showed up out of nowhere when I was a little kid, my parents decided to ditch me. There's only so many atoms someone can electrocute open before it feels like stealing. I decided to get a real job. Wait, your parents abandoned you so you decided to become a treasure hunter? Riaz sounded kinda sad, but quickly got back on topic. No. I'm not a treasure hunter. I'm an archaeologist who operates without a degree. But that's not important. Most of the stuff I find goes to museums, granted it's whichever museum pays the most for it, but that's beside the point. Issei defended. Now sometimes I'll come across an item, like the living clay, that humans won't value nearly enough. So I'll sell that to a collector, or a crazed mage who wants to construct an unstoppable golem. Riaz finished. Okay look, most orphan boys don't live in fancy, high-class apartments do they? And no way am I staying in a foster home or some god-forsaken orphanage. I'm just trying to survive alright. Besides I left all that behind and now I'm going to school and stuff. Issei stopped in front of a large fancy apartment building and made his farewell. I appreciate the curiosity, but for right now I'm keeping my past a secret. Nothing personal. Alright, fine. I'll drop it for now. Riaz relented. But you've got me intrigued and you'll have to tell me more eventually. That's fine. Well I'll see you tomorrow, President. Issei smiled as he entered the large building and retreated for the night, leaving Riaz alone outside. Oh, I think you'll see me much sooner than that. Riaz smiled devilishly as a small red circle appeared beneath her feet. Issei's apartment. Man, I'm beat. Issei said, tossing his school bag onto his sofa. Really did have a nice apartment. A large living room with a flat-screen TV. An open kitchen with all the top-of-the-line appliances. A small guest room, a large master bedroom and an extra room for storage. I guess I should cook something before I go to bed, Yinglong's still recovering after all. Issei entered his room and removed his shirt as he started up the shower. Oh, you're gonna cook? What are you making? An unnamed voice said from behind him. I'm thinking of curry, I know it's kinda standard, but I have all the ingredients already here. Issei mumbled. That's fine. Sounds delicious. The voice continued. Good, I'm glad you. Hey wait. Issei turned around to see Riaz waving at him with a smile. What are you doing here? This is Issei's fault. Riaz cried in a fake whiny tone. What kind of man expects a lady to walk home alone at night? I had no choice but to crash here. Wait, you said you insisted on walking me home. I don't even know where you live. Issei said in an actual whine. Huh, fine, I guess you can wait. What are you doing? The second Issei relented, Riaz immediately began to unbutton her top. Well, I thought I'd get ready for bed. Wait. We just got done fighting a huge disgusting monster, at least take a shower first. And I'm still gonna make dinner. Issei berated his president. Oh, but I thought you were gonna take a shower. You're stripping too. Riaz said, pointing at Issei's bare, muscular torso which he quickly covered with his hands. Oh wait, I get it. I guess it makes sense, to repay you for lending me your home. You want me to shower with you so you can wash my breasts. Well, normally I wouldn't even consider such a thing, but for you I'll make an exception. No, that's not what I meant. But now that she said that, I totally want to wash them. Issei furiously shook the thought from his head. Look, you shower first and I'll get dinner started. Wow, the super popular Issei-kun is going to cook me dinner shirtless. I wonder how many of our classmates have had fantasies like this. Riaz continued to joke as Issei stomped out of the room. A few moments passed and Issei was standing over a sizzling pan of brown sauce filled with meat, vegetables and spices. And that's when Riaz entered the kitchen wearing nothing but a tight-fitting bathrobe. Smells delicious. Oh crap. Issei thought to himself. That bathrobe is way too small, she is spilling out and you can see her whole legs. And her skin is still. It's too hot, I can't keep my eyes off of her. While Issei was fantasizing, Riaz said something that he completely missed. Oh, sorry, what was that? I wasn't paying attention, my mind was preoccupied by something else. You may be perverted, but you're honest about it. It's kinda cute. As Riaz chuckled, she bounced in the robes. I ask how you learned to cook. Well, I'm self-taught. I read cookbooks or see recipes I want to try on TV, or I just experiment for myself. Issei said as he poured some of the sauce onto 2 plates of rice and brought them to the table. Thank you. Riaz scooped up a fork full of curry and slowly placed it in her mouth. This is delicious. Issei smiled at the compliment and the two finished the meal before getting ready for bed. Issei took a shower and when he finished, he found Riaz layer sprawled out on his bed. Okay, let me just get the guest room ready and you can go to bed. Best room? No way. This bed is way too big and comfy, not to mention bouncy. Riaz her upwards and started bouncing on the bed. What's wrong with me sleeping here tonight? I slept here yesterday. First of all, you slept here, second of all there's a big difference between you dragging me here while unconscious and the two of us sleeping together. Issei said impatiently. Too bad, I want to use you as a hug pillow tonight. Riaz said, patting the seat in the bed next to her and Issei reluctantly climbed in the bed. Plus it's kinda exciting to think about all the women who have probably slept in this very spot. It feels kinda dangerous. Ha. Well, I hate to burst your bubble, devil, but don't let looks deceive you. My partner is a total virgin. Yo, dude. What the hell? Issei scolded his dragon, but received no reply. The Riaz barely stopped herself from laughing. Hey. Don't make fun of me, I haven't found the right person yet. Issei yelled again. No, I'm sorry, I was laughing at your reaction, not that. I'm a virgin too, so don't be ashamed, it makes me feel a bit better about myself naturally. Riaz turned off the bedside lamp and snuggled up to Issei's. I can't offer you my body. But if you want to tell people at school that I slept with you, it wouldn't be lying, and I wouldn't deny a thing. Oh really? Issei's face turned a bright red, and unbeknownst to him, Riaz had just then slipped her bathrobe off and was now completely naked. Wait. What's that I feel pressing up against me? Riaz. Bing Long chanted in encouragement as Issei sat cross-legged as he concentrated intensely. Come on, Issei mumbled as a small bar of light began to form in his palm. Almost there, Issei began to grip the shining golden staff, but as he did this it shattered in his hand. God damn it. Issei jumped up and began furiously scratching his head. This is such bullshit. Patience, partner, you're too high-strung. You're letting your frustrations get the better of you. It's going to take time to make significant improvements, but you are getting better at it. And trust me, you have plenty of time, you just need to keep calm. Sorry if I'm having trouble keeping calm. A lot of shit went down recently. I'm kind of preoccupied. Issei griped. Are you regretting your decision already? Riaz said from behind Issei. Wah. Crap, when did you get here? Issei jumped. Oh, no. Nothing like that. I had decided to become a devil, after days of looking for a reason not to, it only seemed like the most reasonable step to take. Flashback, yesterday. Issei was lying flat on his back as a large magic circle slowly spun beneath him. So is this gonna hurt? Issei asked, like a child on their first trip to the dentist. No, it shouldn't. Riaz replies as she finishes her cantation, a large grin plastered on her face. Thank you again for agreeing to this, I promise I'll do everything in my power to make sure you don't regret it. Yeah, alright, I get it. Don't worry, I'm not backing down now. Issei rolled his eyes. Now you don't have to try so hard. He mumbled. What was that? Riaz said as she fished something out of a desk drawer. Oh, nothing. So, what piece did you decide for me? Rook. Knight. I don't even know what the bishop does. As Issei began to ramble on, Riaz pulled out a small red pawn piece. No. Wait, at least hear me out. Riaz pleaded. No way. I'm not a pawn. The pawn isn't that bad. No other piece really fits you. You have strong magic and good physical strength. As a pawn you'll be able to boost your attributes depending on the situation. Riaz explained, but Issei wasn't having any of it. I don't care, no way do I want to be labeled a pawn. Come on, please. No. Pretty please. Riaz. No. Riaz walked over to Issei and looked down on him with sad eyes. Please. Fine, whatever. Yay. Thank you. Riaz immediately perked up. Now, you're pretty strong so it may take a couple of these. Riaz said, holding one of the pieces over Issei's dot. So let's begin. Riaz let go of the piece, and it slowly floated down as sparks of red lightning began pouring from it into Issei. Ah! Issei shrieked in pain as the piece got closer and closer to him. Oh right. Light and devil magic are pretty much polar opposites. I guess it makes sense that for you the transformation would be painful. I'm sorry about that. With that, the pawn piece fully immersed itself in Issei's dot. Well, looks like I was right. One piece won't do it. Riaz pulled another pawn piece from a bag. Well, Issei, you ready for round 2? And Riaz dropped the second piece. RRR, I G G G G G G H H H H H H H H. What? 2 pieces still isn't enough. Oh well, here goes number 3. H H H H H, I. What the hell? It hurts. Just hold on a little longer. Piece number 4. Yeah. And here goes 5. Mu. I. Y. 6. Nu. G. End of flashback. I still can't believe it took all 8 pieces, but I still feel like it was the right call. Issei thought before shooting Riaz a friendly smile. I figured that after I agreed to be her servant that Riaz would back off and stop forcing herself to spend so much time with me. This was my decision, I did it of my own free will. She doesn't owe me anything, but she still acts like my happiness is her top priority. It's so weird, no one has ever been this nice to me. Issei, are you thinking about something? Riaz got a bit closer and Issei nervously stepped away. What's wrong? Oh, nothing. Issei faked a grin. I think I just need a change of scenery to help calm me down. Okay. How about we go for a walk in the park, it's beautiful this time of year. Or we could go have a bite at the new cafe downtown. Riaz began rambling on about activities they could do together, causing Issei to break out in a nervous sweat. Look. I don't mean it personally and I definitely don't want to offend you, but along with the change of scenery, I think I need a bit of alone time, okay? Issei explained and definitely caught Riaz off guard. Oh. Alright, I guess I understand. Man, was that a shot to her self-esteem and definitely not what she wanted to hear. I just got excited about my new servant and I wanted to spend time with him, but I suppose you do need your space. I'm sorry. Excited about my new servant? What is she, a kid who just got some fancy toy? I shouldn't get mad about that, she didn't mean it to be an insult. Besides, she looks pretty upset. Man, I'm kinda a jerk today. Issei put a comforting hand on her shoulder. Look, tomorrow is a day off too, so I promise we'll do something. Whatever you want, but today I have some stuff I'm trying to figure out and I want to do it by myself. This got Riaz to smile again. Alright, you can go. But remember, you promised me. Yeah, got it. It's a promise. Later, downtown. Well, I've been walking for a good half hour and I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, I'm not feeling any better and my mind isn't any clearer. Could it be that taking a walk in a park doesn't magically fix all my emotional problems? Issei pondered as he made his way down a busy street when something caught his attention. Help please, could you please help me? I could use your assistance if you would be so kind. A small girl in nun's robes was begging passers-by for help, but no one would even stop. So she's with the church, huh? And she can't speak Japanese, huh? I guess there is justice in the world. Issei smiled as he watched the holy girl have troubles, but then she started to tear up. Sniff. What's the use of no one here can understand me? I want to go home. Sniff. The young nun sniffed hard as she tried to fight off the tears, but regardless, water began to form on her eyes. Crap, even if she is some holy puppet. I don't want to see her cry. Oh well, my Italian isn't great, but I guess I'll help her out. Issei buried his hands in his pockets and reluctantly walked over. Don't worry about communication problems. You're a devil, she should understand you perfectly no matter what language you speak. Breathe, Issei thought. Sniff sniff, the nun rubbed her eyes. Hey. Issei said, and the nun's ears perked up. You alright? You speak Italian? The nun asked with hopeful eyes. On closer inspection, she was a beautiful blonde around Issei's age, if not younger. Yeah. Let's go with that. Issei was pretty flustered by the girl's cute appearance, but he was still able to manage a respectable conversation. I heard you calling for help, did you need something? Oh yes, thank you so much for coming to my aid. I was hoping you could give me instructions to the local church. The strange girl said as she bowed to Issei. Oh, the church, that makes sense. Issei put a finger to his chin as he answered her. Yeah, I know where it is, let me see your phone, and I'll enter the location. Phone? Asked the nun, clearly confused. Well, that complicates things. Issei immediately began thinking up a solution. Well, it's too far from here to just explain the directions verbally. And the train doesn't take you close enough to be sure you won't get lost again. Maybe they sell a map in the local convenience store. Oh, but you probably can't read Japanese. I hate to impose too much on you, but do you think you could show me the way personally? I don't want to walk there alone, I'm still new to the area and I really don't know anyone very well. The blonde explained sheepishly. I can understand that, but what about me? Didn't we just meet, what if I'm a total creep? Issei asked, just being curious. Well, it's true we just met, but you don't feel like someone who has ulterior motives. You offered me your help and that was kind. I like to think I can trust kind people. The nun smiled. I'm worried about where that train of thought might get you, but I guess you got lucky this time. Issei said, shaking his head. I'll take you to the church, my name's Issei by the way. Issei Haidu. I am Asia Argento. It's a pleasure to meet you. Asia said, gripping his hand. Yeah. Issei pulled his hand away, his face flushed red. Anyway, the church is this way. The two walked together, block after block. Issei kept his distance to keep himself from getting flustered by the blonde's cuteness, but he made sure to stay close enough so that she wouldn't be separated. As they would walk, they would share small talk and stories. Well, Issei would tell a story, and Asia would wholeheartedly listen to every word. She didn't have many stories to tell. Eventually the two would happen upon a group of young boys kicking a ball, but one of the boys would slip. OOOFFF. The boy landed face first, and when he turned himself over he noticed a bloody gash on his knee. Yeah. He started to bawl. Oh, no. Asia quickly noticed the boy and rushed to his aid. Don't worry, I'll help you. Asia waved her hands over the injury, and waves of healing light began to flow onto his cut. Hey Yinglong. Issei whispered to his partner, mentally. That wouldn't happen to me, you know, would it? It appears so, that's definitely sacred gear. Not one I can claim to be familiar with, but quite a powerful one nonetheless. Yeah, I thought so. Why would some random nun with a powerful sacred gear be here in Kuo of all places? Typically, the members of the church with powerful sacred gears are labeled as exorcists. And we know that there is a powerful high-class devil living here in Kuo. So you think she's here to kill Rias and all her clients? Ah, mass murder. Just as God would want. It's very likely, what are you gonna do, partner? I don't think Asia is being dishonest, so I won't confront her about this. But I'll keep my guard up. Good idea. Keep an eye open. That's not funny. Haha, it's kinda funny. Sniff sniff, the boy's tears began to dry as his leg healed. The boy, like, you shouldn't cry over something like this. Be strong. Asia's kind words got the boy to blush. Once the gash had been completely healed, Asia's ring stopped glowing and she returned to Issei's side. Alright, I'm all done, thanks for waiting. Yeah, no problem. The church is this way. Yeah, I'm not worried about this one. Later, Issei's apartment. Well, home again, home again. Issei said, closing the door behind him. Welcome home. Ria's voice called out from the kitchen, causing Issei to shiver. Issei slowly entered his kitchen to find Ria starting the oven. Do you want to cook tonight, or do you want me to? How about I cook dinner at my house, and you cook dinner at your house? Issei softly mumbled. What was that? Ria's asked, putting on an apron. Oh, nothing. Issei shifted his eyes away. So how was your walk, did you get anything done? Ria's asked, pulling a pot out from the cupboard. I walk. It was pretty nice actually. The next day, evening. Well, I'll admit, that was fun. I'm normally not much of a shopper, but Ria's made it fun for me. I think I'd even go again if she asked me, but why is she so insistent on spending time with me? God, you're an idiot. Let's change the subject before I actually get angry with you. Are you ready for your first devil job? Yeah, I guess. I don't actually know what I'm gonna do for these guys. Make it rain for their garden. Yeah, your skill set doesn't really lend itself to tasks like that. Well, we'll see. Issei jogged up to his client's door and knocked, no answer. Yo. Hello. Is anyone there? Issei took a whiff of the air and made a gross face. Something is wrong. Issei summoned his sacred gear and shot a short, yet posed blast at the doorknob, then slammed open the door. It smells like death in here. Issei's vision went dark and two rablots appeared a few meters away. Two people, both human. One of the blots disappeared from vision. One of them is using a magical artifact that can conceal them. Hey. You. A snarky voice called out from behind Issei. Issei turned around to find a man dressed in a magical priest robe. He had white hair, red eyes, and a crooked grin. I can tell you're a devil. Where are your clients? He gestured to a pile of bodies. Ah yeah, they were. That kinda sucks. Issei sighed. My master is totally gonna be pissed, and I really didn't want to kill anybody today. Lightning began to spark between Issei's fingers tips. If you're gonna cause so much trouble for me, then at least let me have some fun with this. You can make the first move. Bad move, asshole. But hey, I appreciate it. He pulled a small handgun and fired a glowing yellow bullet at Issei's, but it shattered on impact. What the hell? Light bullet. Bad move, asshole. Issei fired a blast of lightning at the priest, knocking him into the wall. Yeah, light can't hurt me. Hope you got some more tricks, or else I'll get bored. Hahaha, no way. It's gotta be some kind of trick. The priest smirked as he climbed to his feet. What's your trick, devil? He charged Issei and readied a sword of white light. You're gonna die. He swung the sword at Issei, but he was stopped by a grab to the wrist. Issei punched the priest's hand, forcing him to drop the sword. I once knew a priest with freaky eyes like yours a long time ago, but he was more into little boys than necrophilia. Oh, are you coming to me? Well, too bad, I don't swing that way, devil. The freaky priest then stuck out his long tongue. No, I was just providing background information. Cause I'm about to do the same thing to you as I did to him. Issei grinned back. I'm warning you now, it's pretty nasty. Hahaha. Give it your best shot, devil, you don't have the balls. He taunted. Oh, poor choice of words there. Issei charged up another bolt of lightning and zapped the priest below the belt. Bolts of lightning coursed through the priest's body. Yao Fu King Devil. Don't worry, I'm helping you. Priests are supposed to be sworn to celibacy, but I know sometimes the temptation can overwhelm you. So I decided to kill the nerve endings downstairs. Now no matter how much Viagra you take, you'll never be able to get it up again. You've sentenced him to a life without color. I was impressed. I never thought you had the stones to force another man to live your hell of a life. Shut up. Issei dropped the priest to the ground and he began to foam at the mouth as he was seizing on the floor. You know, as a devil it feels weird to be doing God's work like this, but even I am done doing this bit. The priest grabbed Issei's ankle as he stopped his spasm. You. Issei stopped on his hand, breaking it. Don't blame me, I warned you not to bore me. Crack. All the windows in the house were shattered as powerful gusts of wind entered the house. The wind began to circle around Issei's hand until it was intense enough to be visible. Well, now it's time to die. Freed, what's going on? Did you deal with the devil yet? Asia entered the room and her eyes opened wide with fear. Issei, you're a. Asia. So you were an exorcist. Issei beat her to the punch, glaring at her with intense eyes. Well, I applaud you for your acting job, you honestly had me fooled. But it'll take more than tricks to take me down. This isn't the first time I've dealt with dirty priests. The dirty priests, no, I wasn't trying to. Asia tried to explain, but a powerful gust of wind knocked her back into the other room. You know, I won't claim to have exactly been a Christian, and becoming a devil I guess kinda throws whatever moral credibility I might have had out the window, but what you church assholes don't seem to understand is that killing people and raping kids is a big no-no in the Bible. A vein on Issei's forehead began to bulge as his frustrations began to overload his thought process. You know, I was gonna spare you in order to achieve some kind of moral irony, but I think the stench of innocent blood has polluted my inn, so now you both die. Lightning bolts formed in Issei's hands as he pointed them at both the priest and Asia, just as the blonde nun was recovering from the earlier attack. Suddenly, a red magic circle opened on the floor directly beneath Issei. Looks like my master wants me to return. You two really are fortunate, but the next time either of you hurt another living person, you're dead. I mean it. With that, Issei disappeared in red flash of light, leaving Asia alone with an injured Freed as a familiar pair of black wings descended onto the house. Whoosh. A gust of wind flew through the clubroom, knocking over papers and shaking the tables and bookshelves, as well as throwing up the skirts of the female club members as Issei emerged from the magic circle created by Rias. Is that really necessary? Kaneko asked a brown-haired boy after readjusting her skirt. Sorry. Issei gave the girl an insincere smile. When I get upset, the weather gets messed up, not mind the side effects in this case. He smirked and with a snap of his fingers another gust of wind, made especially for Kaneko, blew up the young girl's skirt, revealing a pair of white panties covering her unmentionables. Good thing it wasn't lightning this time, right? Pervert Kaneko's face was bright red as she began to tend to her skirt. Ouch. Issei brushed off the insult with an eye roll before turning back to his master, giving her a snarky yes. What happened there? Ria said sternly, her eyes closed and her arms crossed, looking like a mother scolding her child. I don't like priests that much, Issei answered, still smirking, not really taking the situation that seriously. You didn't kill them, did you? Riaz replied, trying to keep her composure. Why? If I did, would that have been bad? Issei decided he wanted to mess around a bit more to see if he could get a reaction from his serious master. Yes, tensions between the devil and the church are high right now, and if you were to do something like that, it could be disastrous and lead to war. Riaz didn't overreact like Issei had hoped, so he eventually gave up. I didn't kill them, but they were the aggressors in that situation. Issei put his hands behind his back as he planned to leave. Well, I'm bored, I'm gonna go home. Wait, I'm curious. Why do you seem aggressive when it comes to the church and its followers? Ria's question got the boy to stop in his tracks. Okay, don't get the wrong idea. Issei looked back over his shoulder, his eyes cold. You're my master and I'm loyal and everything, but that's none of your business, K-Princess. He said nothing else as he stomped out of the clubhouse. Oh my, looks like you touched a nerve. Akeno covered her mouth as she tried to stop her laughter. I suppose I did. I've never seen a boy speak to me that way. Ria sat stunned as her servant walked out on her. Next day. Yawn. Issei let out a deep yawn as he stood at a crosswalk waiting for the light to turn green. It was another day off from school and Issei needed groceries. So tell me why we need to go all the way downtown to get groceries when there's a perfectly good store just a few blocks from your apartment. The legendary dragon questioned the boy telepathically. You could be using that wasted time to master your light abilities. Why do you ask? Issei smiled to himself. Because saving money is crucial to a happy life and this supermarket downtown is 50% off. Issei raised his fist in pride, getting passers-by to think he's a bit strange. I swear partner, your money is your greatest weakness. Hasn't anyone told you that greed is one of the 7 deadliest sins? Yinglong would be shaking his head now if he could. I like to think of it as being economically conscious as opposed to greed. As Issei and Yinglong continued their telepathic conversation on frugality, neither noticed a familiar figure approach the boy. Issei-kun. Huh? Issei said aloud as he was caught off guard. He turned around to see Asia standing closely behind him. Oh, it's you. Are you looking for another fight? That's not very smart, but it's what you want. Issei's right pupil flashed gold as he prepared for battle. A fight? No, that's not it. I swear. Asia backed away slowly, trying her best to appear non-hostile. I just want to talk, I promise. Yeah, what do you want to say? Those people were non-believers, so according to your ethics it was alright to kill them, or maybe if I let you exorcise me and my friends, then there's a chance at redemption if I kill myself. Or something else hypocritical like that. Trust me, I've heard it all before. Issei rolled his eyes. No, I had no idea about what Fried had done to those people. He made me hide in the other room. I could never kill anyone, I swear. Asia pleaded with Issei, getting the attention of people around him. Okay. Issei shushed the young blonde girl. You gotta keep your voice down, let's talk somewhere else. As Issei led the girl away, Yinglong decided to chip in with some information. I'm pretty sure she's telling the truth, so maybe drop the hostilities for now and listen to what she has to say. Issei ignored this advice as he and Asia sat down on a bench in an empty park so they could continue their conversation. So you're saying that you're innocent? Let's just say I believe you, what now? Why would you tell me? Why do you care what I think of you? I'm a devil and you're a nun. It shouldn't matter to you what I think, so why exactly do you care? Issei cut straight to the heart of things. Asia began fidgeting again. Well, you see, when you walked me to the church the other day, it was the most fun I've had since coming to this country. It was really kind of you to do that, and now that I know for certain that you hold negative feelings against the church and its members, but you chose to help me anyways, proves what a good person you are. Even if you are a devil, I just don't want you to hate me. Issei sighed. I figured she was sheltered, but this is ridiculous. If walking with me is the most fun thing she's done since she arrived here, then things must be bad. I can tell that she's not a bad person, she's just a girl, not some crooked priest. I was probably too hard on her. Issei stood up from the bench and looked back at the young girl. Look, last night I overreacted. I let my own prejudice blind me and took out my anger on you, so I'm sorry. If you're not busy, how about we go grab a bite to eat and we can make this little peace treaty official. Issei smiled at the blonde nun and she accepted his offer. Later. The two of them sat at a table at a nearby fast food restaurant as they engaged in small talk. So the church went and made you a saint because of your sacred gear, even though you didn't really want to be one, but when you used it to heal a demon you were banished from Rome, and that's how you wound up with that psychopath. That's crazy, you're still so devout. If I was in your shoes I'd want nothing to do with the church or any of that stuff. Issei asked from across the table. You think that, huh? Asia replied with a sad smile. But the church is my home, they took me in when no one else would. They're the closest thing to a family I have, and believing in God and his love gives me hope even in my darkest times. Issei listened to every word, fascinated by the girl's story. I guess I can relate to that. Issei summoned his sacred gear, transforming his right eye black and reptilian with a single golden pupil cutting down the middle. One look at this and my parents bailed on me when I was just a kid. From that day on I went from place to place, never staying in one spot for very long, so finding a place you can truly call home must be comforting at least. But you found a place now, right? With your master? Asia asked as Issei's eye returned to normal. You'll have to stay pretty close to her from now on, right? Oh, you're right. Issei chuckled as he answered. I never really thought about that. As Issei and Asia continued to chat, their food finally arrived. Issei quickly unwrapped the hamburger and bit down into it like it was second nature. Asia on the other hand was struggling. Asia looked over the wrapped sandwich multiple times, as if she was planning out an elaborate attack strategy, but nothing was clicking. Ahem. Issei pretended to cough to get the girl's attention, as he demonstrated how to bite down into the burger. The nun picked up her lunch and in a similar style to Issei, but she put a little too much effort into her bite, and the excess force caused a bit of ketchup to spray onto her face. Hahaha. Issei cracked up briefly, as he grabbed a napkin. I really am sorry for being such a jerk earlier. If I kept an open mind, I probably would have realized how cute you were way sooner. Issei said bluntly as he wiped the ketchup off her face, but for some reason the red tinge in her skin remained. Thank you, Asia said, lowering her head so that her hair would cover her embarrassed face. Haha, no problem. Issei couldn't help but chuckle as he sat back in his chair. So what do you want to do next? Next? Asia's eyes began to shine. The two spent the remainder of the day together. They played games at the arcade and then went shopping around town for a bit. The day ended with the two stopping by a nearby fountain to chat a bit more. Issei dropping a coin in the water, per tradition. Well, Asia. I'll be the first to admit I had more fun than I thought I would. Issei smiled, looking down on the reflection of the sunset in the water. Yeah, I had a good time too. Asia looked nervous once more, but she managed to summon the courage to speak her mind. So Issei-kun. We're FR friends now, right? Issei looked up at the girl, stunned that she even had to ask at this point. Yeah, of course we're friends. No doubt. Issei tried to cheer her up and he managed to make the girl smile. Really? Asia was utterly glowing with happiness at this point. She had made her first friend, but unfortunately the good times weren't to last. So you'd be willing to do this again sometime? Yeah, anytime. Issei smiled back. Well, what do we have here? A familiar voice called out from above as black feathers began to slowly fall down to earth. The two looked up to find Rainer floating overhead in her battle outfit. Oh Issei, I'm hurt. I thought you liked me, but you're out here sharing a romantic evening with another woman. Issei looked puzzled, but then it all came back to him. Oh, you're that fallen angel from before. Rachel or something, Issei said, scratching at his chin. Wait, what? You seriously forgot my name? Rainer had to blink twice at this. We went on a date and fought just a few days ago. You summoned a hurricane to try and kill me. I remember that much, but your name just escapes me. But that's not important, is it? The wind began to pick up until a sphere of rushing air began to circle Issei. You're here to finish what we then write. If you really want to die that badly, I'd be happy to oblige. Issei's eyes began glowing gold. Man, you really are full of yourself, aren't you, devil? Rainer pulled a crucifix out of seemingly nowhere and tossed it to the ground near Issei's feet, and the boy immediately lost his balance, and his face grew pale. The name's Rainer, and I'm not here for you. She also pulled out a mysterious bottle with an image of a cross on it. She quickly popped the top of the bottle off and poured its contents onto one of her hands. Ugh, what the hell is going on? I feel like I'm gonna barf. Something is definitely wrong. She said she wasn't after me. That could only mean Issei realized it quickly and turned to his new friend. Asia. Run. Issei called out, but the nun remained still. Her head lowered as if she was ashamed to look him in the eyes. Asia. Doesn't look like she's listening to you, does it? Rainer grabbed Issei's chin, lifting his face up so that she could look him in the eye. Then she lifted her other hand, still dripping in the mysterious liquid. If you wanted to say something that may actually matter to her, then maybe you should say goodbye. Cause you'll never see her again. Issei remained silent, irritating the fallen angel. Rainer reeled back, then smack. Rainer struck Issei with her hand, and the boy dropped to the ground unconscious. Later. A muffled voice rang through Issei's head as he began to see again with clouded vision. Slowly his vision returned and he could hear more clearly. Issei. Riaz called out to him and he managed to sit up. Ugh, where am I? Asia. Issei was sitting in his large bed in his room, his shirt removed, but his pants remained on. Issei, calm down. Riaz pushed down on Issei, trying to get him to lay down, but the boy was struggling and managed to push her off. He then gets up and puts on a red t-shirt before making his way towards the door. Where do you think you're going? I have to go help my friend. Issei slammed the door shut as he left Riaz alone in his bedroom. Riaz let out a loud sigh as she watched the boy leave. Seriously, I saved his life and he just barged out on me without so much as a thank you. Just what am I gonna do with him? A small smile formed on the Ritide's face before a small magic circle appeared next to her ear. Akeno, I think he's going after the fallen angels. Prepare the others for battle. Meanwhile Issei was sprinting down the sidewalk late at night, his GoldenEye sacred gear had already been summoned. "Don't worry Asia, I'm coming for you." "Yeah partner, that sounds very heroic and all, but do you even know where she is?" Yinglong's voice rang out in the boy's head. "No, not exactly, but I have a pretty good idea. I'll keep searching regardless. Rainer tried to kill me because of my sacred gear, the only reason I'm still alive is because I'm not as easy a target as she might have thought." I could tell by Asia's face that she knew Rainer and was most likely afraid of her. I could only imagine what that psycho fallen angel could have planned for her. Issei's eye flashed golden, creating a tailwind that helped to increase his speed. "Don't worry Asia, I won't let her hurt you." "Stop." Yinglong called out, nearly causing Issei to fall over as he tried to stop himself. "If you're gonna do this you should at least do it in style and bring in the big guns." "What do you mean?" Issei asked for his eyeball. "Your sacred gear has two distinct powers, the ability to manipulate light and the ability to control powerful storms and the weather. Along with those two abilities comes two different balance breakers. Against the golem you attempted to use the balance breaker that corresponds with your light-based powers, why not try the one that takes advantage of your weather abilities?" Yinglong explained, getting Issei's eyes to widen. "Seriously? That sounds awesome, how do I do it?" Issei was instantly excited by the prospect of this new ability, almost forgetting the stakes at hand. "Here, let me show you." Yinglong said, causing Issei's golden pupil to change color to a light electric blue as bolts of lightning began to surge through his body. Later, at the fallen angel's church. Crack. Boom. The sound of thunder could be heard even below ground as Rainer strapped Asia, who was barely clothed in more than sheet, to a massive glowing green cross atop an elevated platform surrounded by her minions. "Uh-oh, sounds like your boyfriend's upset. It's foolish to use that much power at once, by the time he shows up to save you he'll be completely drained. That's assuming he even makes it this far. Even if he does, it's already too late." Rainer smiled as she petted the blonde nun on her chin. Asia at this point was too weak to even speak. "Your power is already mine. Boss." The obnoxious screams of Fried Selzen filled the large room as he bursted in through the main entrance. "Boss. We gotta get this show on the road. That lightning psycho is here and he brought a hurricane with him." "I say." Asia managed to get out. "Well, you better go back up there and stall." Rainer snapped at the evil priest. "I've been dreaming of this day for years, the ultimate power is almost at hand, and I won't let some freak of a devil stand between me and my destiny. You get out there and hold up your end of the deal." "Haha. No way. Sorry babe, but psycho devils weren't part of the deal. I'm out of here before I end up like your fallen angel buddies." Fried said with another twisted laugh. "Wait. What do you mean before you end up like them? What happened to my team?" Rainer sounded scared and she had every reason to be. "Off." The muscular fallen angel Donasik grunted as he hit the floor of the sacrificial room. "Donasik? What happened?" Rainer called out as her henchmen struggled to regain footing. "Sorry boss, we couldn't stop him. He's too strak." Before anyone could react, Donasik was silenced by a large lightning bolt penetrating his torso like a spear. The glowing blue bolt then suddenly discharged, sending an electric shock wave through the dark room, electrocuting all of Rainer's henchmen and dropping them dead on the ground. Crackum. The clap of thunder followed the massive discharge, and the lightning that had pierced Donasik's torso dissipated, leaving a 7-foot-long black spear in its place. The tip was a bright, almost shining gold. "Lei Wang." Issei's voice called out, and the spear reverted to a bolt of lightning that flew back towards the entrance of the room and returned to Issei's hand. Issei stood at the entrance, his facial expressions were stern and serious, almost cold, even after the massive kill count he had just racked up. His reptilian pupil was shining the bright electric blue from before, his spear in hand as he looked eyes with his opponent. "Rainer. This is your only warning, let Asia go or die." "Lei Wang." Issei's voice called out, and the spear reverted to a bolt of lightning that flew back towards the entrance of the room and returned to Issei's hand. Issei stood at the entrance, his facial expressions were stern and serious, almost cold, even after the massive kill count he had just racked up. His reptilian pupil was shining the bright electric blue from before, his spear in hand as he looked eyes with his opponent. "Rainer. This is your only warning, let Asia go or die." "Issei. You came." Asia called out as loud as she could, but her strength was fading fast. "HMPH. Well, if it isn't Prince Charming." Rainer taunted, seemingly unaffected by the loss of her men. "If only you were here sooner, now it's too late. The ritual is already over." Barry KKK. The massive cross that held Asia activated. "Ah." Asia screamed as the green glow from the device intensified. "Asia." Issei began to charge the elevated platform, but before he could get very far. Bang. AHHH. Fried fired a bullet of light into Issei's leg, getting him to trip slightly. "What the hell? I thought light couldn't hurt me." It's a side effect of the balance breaker, the ability you choose to amplify becomes so powerful that you can't use the other. So by choosing the storm balance breaker, your light abilities have been nullified, which includes the barrier that protects you from light attacks. Yinglong explained. Shit. You don't think you could have said something earlier, Issei growled aloud. Ahaha. Guess you're not as invincible as you thought, huh? Prepare to die. Fried aimed his gun at Issei's head, but before he could fire, a powerful gust of wind knocked the crooked priest over. Wahhhhh. Fried cried out as he fell off the platform and onto the ground below. But while Issei was occupied dealing with Fried, the device attached to Asia had finished the ritual. Hahaha. Finally. The ultimate power. Issei watched stunned as Rainer removed Asia's rings, the sacred gear Twilight Healing. The fallen angel slipped the rings on herself, and a powerful green light encompassed her body. It's all mine now. Asia, Issei muttered as the blonde nun's body fell to the ground, seemingly absent from life. Asia. Issei called out louder this time as he sprinted up the stairs to her side. Asia, speak to me. He lifted her head so that she could breathe better, but it was no use. Issei, she said weakly. I'm sorry, I should have ran when you told me to. I was too scared. It was short, but I'm happy that you and I were friends, thank you. Asia managed to smile as she closed her eyes. Asia, Issei began to tear up as he could feel the warmth leave Asia's body. I'm sorry, partner, the sacred gear is directly linked to the wielder's life. If removed, then death is certain. There's nothing we could have done. Yinglong tried to counsel his partner, but Issei's mind was running too fast to listen. Why? Issei asked, still holding Asia's corpse. He didn't specify, but his words were most likely directed to Rainer. Why? I guess you've only been a devil for a short amount of time, so you must still think like a human. I guess it makes sense that you wouldn't understand. In this world, power is the only thing that matters, and so I did what I had to so I could obtain it. Trust me, if I didn't have to kill her to take her power, I wouldn't have. Rainer said as she marveled at her new sacred gear. She didn't deserve this, she never wanted this. She didn't want that sacred gear, all she ever wanted was a friend. It's not fair, Issei muttered as he laid Asia's body down on a blanket. Well then, it's a good thing you came around. She got a friend and I got her sacred gear. In the end, everyone's happy. Rainer spread her wings and flew off the platform. Well, I got what I wanted and you killed my team, so there's a real point in me sticking around. Tell you want, if you really care that much you can bury her. Rainer began to fly off, but she was knocked out of the sky by a surge of wind. Ahhhhh. Rainer's body slammed down onto the ground hard. What the? Rainer looked up to see Issei standing over, it was almost like he had teleported. He moved so fast. A sphere of wind began to circle around him. You took a good person from this world, so I think I need to balance things out. The swirling wind surrounding Issei intensified until his body was completely covered by rushing winds, leaving just his silhouette visible and his right eye glowing a fierce blue. Meanwhile, outside the church. Whoosh. Outside, a massive storm surged around the building, hundreds of gallons of rain pouring down from the sky, 40 miles per hour wind sweeping through the trees, and lightning above dancing across dark gray clouds. The good thing is that the weather seemed relatively contained, only affecting the church and the area around it. But through the foul weather, Riaz and her peerage trudged on, 1 foot at a time through a crowded forest, as rain poured down on top of them. Kibble led the pack, as the girls followed behind. Riaz, I hate to say it, but if Issei is powerful enough to create a mini hurricane, do you really think he needs our help to deal with a few fallen angels? Akeno asked, a smile plastered on her face despite the rough conditions. It's not the fallen angels I'm worried about what he's gonna do once he runs out of fallen angels. Riaz looked up with concerned eyes at the developing storm as a wall of wind formed around the church, separating Riaz's team from Issei and the conflict ensuing in the church. Well, it looks like until Issei calms down, we won't be of much help to him at all. Akeno said with her ever-smiling face and a tilt of her head. Oh, Issei, Riaz thought as she stared deeply into the swirling wind vortex before returning to command mode. Alright. We'll leave the church to Issei, but it's our job to clean the forest. No fallen angel is to leave this area alive, do you understand me? Right. Riaz's peerage cried out in unison before getting back to work. Back inside the church. Rainer stared down the sphere of wind that surrounded the enraged boy. For a moment the fallen angel appeared to be frightened before a malicious smile formed on her face. Ha. You wish to fight me and avenge this girl whom you've only just met? Go ahead, do your best. Rainer lifted her arms into the air as green light began to shine from her fingertips. I have the ultimate power now. I'm Invincog. Rainer's spiel was cut short as she looked down to find a dark-colored spear had impaled her through her abdomen. Crack, boom. A bolt of lightning came crashing down seemingly from nowhere and was channeled through the spear into Rainer's body. Ahhhhh. Rainer cried out in pain as the lightning surged through her and caused her to fall to the ground. Then with an incredible burst of speed, as if he was carried by the wind itself, Issei was immediately on top of Rainer. He grabbed the handle of the spear with the tip still lodged in Rainer's body, and with a quick flex of his arms, he flicked the spear upwards, tossing Rainer's body up through the roof of the underground chamber and into the church above, and with a wind-assisted leap he followed after her. Rainer looked down at her wound and began whimpering, but a faint green glow surrounded her body, and the wound began to close up. Ha ha ha, Rainer chuckled. See, I told you I was invincible, I can't be killed. Issei answered by lifting his hand, and a spiral of wind lasted out from his fingertips and slammed into Rainer, knocking her through a couple pews and into the wall of the church. We'll see about that. The glow emitting from Issei's eye intensified as the air temperature began dropping rapidly. You won't be able to heal yourself if your cells are frozen solid. I wouldn't be too sure about that. Rainer said as she created a ball of light in her hand that began to heat up the room. I'm an angel, so I have power over light, and light equals heat. Here, I'll prove it. Rainer clenched her fist, and the ball of light became a glowing red blade that flung itself through Issei's shoulder. AHH. Issei shrieked in pain as he clenched his bleeding shoulder. Hahaha. See, I told you. Burns, doesn't it? Rainer stood gloating as the walls surrounding her and Issei began to shake. What the? Issei growled as the walls of the church were ripped from their foundations by the massive cyclone of violent wind, leaving the two of them standing in the middle of the storm. It was at this moment Rainer realized just how outmatched she was as she looked on in fear at the tornado Issei had created. No way, she muttered to herself before she dropped down to her knees. Okay, you win, I surrender. Issei gritted his teeth. Surrender's not an option. Issei, moving like a bolt of lightning, appeared behind the knelt down Rainer and kicked her into the wall of swirling wind. Zap. AHHH. The wind was being charged by lightning, so when Rainer made contact with it, she was zapped and sent flying back in the opposite direction, but before she could land, Issei grabbed her by one of the straps on her outfit and pushed her back into the swirling winds. Zap. Ah. Stop. Was surrender an option for Asia? You took her life from her. Why should I treat you any differently? Issei pushed the angels back into the swirling winds as she continued to shriek in pain before Issei pushed her all the way through, destroying the tornado as he did so before throwing her to the dirt. AHHH, OOOFFF. Rainer grunted as she landed. As she pushed herself out of the mud she'd been thrown into, she noticed something was off. She looked back to see that her wings were gone, leaving two bloody stumps in their place. No. My wings. The violent winds had shredded them while Issei held her up against the twister. She began to crawl away, but before she could get more than a few feet. Whoosh. A strong wind blew past her, and when she looked up her eyes were met by the golden tip of Issei's spear. Issei picked her up by both hands as he stripped her of Asia's sacred gear before dropping her back to the ground. There's no healing from this one, Issei said as his spear surged with lightning. Please. Rainer dropped to all fours and began to plead. Don't kill me. I'm sorry. I don't want to die. Brrrr, Issei growled as he lifted his spear up above his head. Shut up. Issei screamed as he brought down the deadly weapon, stabbing just a few centimeters in front of Rainer's head, a bolt of lightning striking as the spear pierced the ground before the spear disappeared and Issei's eye returned to its original black and gold color. The still living Rainer looked up with a confused expression. You're not even worth it, besides she wouldn't want me to. Rainer cautiously climbed back to her feet. Just get out of my sight. You don't have to tell me twice. Rainer began hobbling away as fast as her broken body could take her. Meanwhile, Riaz and her peerage ran to regroup with Issei. Riaz stood in front of the boy with a sympathetic look in her eyes. Oh, Issei, if there's anything we can do. Issei just ignored Riaz, brushing past her as he walked by. Issei walked back to where the church used to be, then he entered the secret underground passage. Moments later he returned carrying the deceased Asia. He walked out to the middle of the forest as his right eye began to glow before he unleashed a full power beam of light and used it to dig a hole deep into the ground. He was about to toss her into the makeshift grave when Riaz ran over to stop him. Wait. She cried out as she ran up to the boy, stopping him just in time. It may not be too late, let me try something. Asia was laid down on the forest floor, her sacred gear returned to her, and a crimson magic circle surrounded her corpse. She placed what resembled a bishop piece from chess on her body began to glow as the piece was absorbed into her body. The red glow died down for a moment before Asia opened her eyes and sat up. Now, I don't normally make a habit of reviving the dead, but I made an exception because of how unique her power is. Riaz stood confident as her new servant adjusted to her second chance at life. And I'm leaving it to you to teach her the ropes. She's your responsibility, consider it your punishment for rushing off on your own. She added with a playful smile. Issei, Asia called out to the only face she recognized. What's going on? Is this real life? Yeah, Issei answered awkwardly as this situation was almost as confusing for him as it must have been for Asia. Good to have you back in Asia. Issei smiled as he offered a helping hand. Issei, Asia said as she looked up into the boy's eyes. It's cold, she said as a light breeze blew through her legs and under the small white dress that happened to be her only clothing. Okay, then let's go home, Issei said as he began leading the blonde devil along with him. See you guys tomorrow, I guess, Issei said as he passed his friends on his way back. This is weird. You were dead a few minutes ago. Issei said looking back at Asia. Later at Issei's house. Here, these should fit you. Issei tossed a handful of clothes into Asia's waiting arms. Thanks. Asia took a moment to examine the clothes she had been given as a puzzled expression formed on her face. Issei, why do you have women's clothes in your apartment? Don't worry about it. Haha, Issei chuckled nervously as he led Asia down a hallway. Here's the guest bedroom where you can stay. He opened the door to find a pretty much empty bedroom, the only furniture being a naked mattress on a bedpost. I can skip school tomorrow and we can go pick you up some decorations and clothes. Issei closed the bedroom door and shifted Asia's attention to the parallel door. This is the bathroom. You got a toilet and a shower. We'll probably need to add toiletries to the shopping list. Issei. What's that door? Asia pointed to a door at the very end of the hallway. We don't need to go in there. Issei quickly jumped in front of Asia and spread his arms out wide, trying to block her vision of the mysterious door. Asia didn't say anything, rather she began pouting. Ugh, fine. Issei gave in and guided Asia to this mysterious room. You need to remember, don't touch anything. Asia nodded firmly as Issei pushed open the door and flipped the light switch illuminating the room. Across the floor and tables there were dozens of strange items and artifacts. Issei, what is this? In the past I was a treasure hunter of sorts. I would find rare artifacts and sell them to museums or collectors, but sometimes I'd find items that the human world wouldn't appreciate as much as some other parties would, so I keep a lot of that stuff here until someone decides to pay me for it. Issei said as he lifted a golden sword and scabbard off one of his many desks to show his new blonde roommate. So all of this stuff is for sale? Asia asked as she wandered the strange room with a fueled sense of curiosity. Then she spotted a necklace with what appeared to be a quarter-sized ruby and began reaching for it. Don't touch that. Issei leapt and grabbed Asia by the arm before she could touch the necklace. That's a vampiric necklace, it'll suck out all your blood if you touch it. Now as for your question, no, not all of these are for sale. What do you mean? Asia asked as she carefully backed away from the malicious necklace. Issei walked over to a room covered in chains and different locks as he pulled a key out from his pocket and got to work on the dot. Some of these things are personal souvenirs and some of these things I have no idea what exactly they are, so I can't exactly negotiate a price. Click. They opened up. And there are a few things in this collection that I shouldn't sell because of how powerful they are. Issei said as he lifted a deep red gauntlet decorated with yellow spikes and green gems. The younger Issei, wearing a dark gray hoodie that let his long shaggy hair grow out. His eyes were dark and baggy, and he carried a drawstring bag over his shoulder. He took a stroll down a rough neighborhood, gaining the attention of some rather unsavory onlookers, but regardless Issei kept on walking until he stood in front of a dark alleyway. So this is the spot, huh? Issei said in a dull voice as he stared deep into the darkness before pulling a flat piece of glass out of one packet and a small plastic bag containing a white powdered substance. Time to put my game face on. Sniff. Issei threw the piece of glass on the ground, crash. Shattering it. Hey. He yelled into darkness. I'm here. Let's get down to business. Woo. His right iris went from brown to gold and the dark alleyway suddenly became illuminated and he saw two men wearing red bandanas standing in the back corner of the alley, both of them armed with handguns. So you're the guy at? One of the men, a bald one, asked as he and his partner approached Issei. You're late, hombre, he added as he cocked the gun. You got the stuff, man? Of course I got it. Issei replied with a glare as he opened up his drawstring to reveal dozens of vials of strange green liquid. 60 ounces of genuine H1N. As a professional, I do apologize for the delay, but you don't know how hard it is to get that crap out of London. You can't fly out with it, you have to go by boat, and even that is tricky. Hey. The other man, who had a full head of hair but wore an eye patch, approached the bag. We ain't just about to take you by your word, man. Lem try some of the juice. Alright, catch. Issei pulled a vial from his bag and tossed it to the guy with the eye patch, who caught it and immediately popped it open and down the green fluid. The man's muscles started to bulge to the point it tore the sides of his tank top and he accidentally crushed his gun with his newfound strength. Now you need to be careful with that jack juice. Normal shouldn't even know about that stuff, much less have any of it, cause it's crazy addictive and super easy to overdose on it, but you wanted it and I got it for you. So let's talk about payment. Payment? The muscle-bound thug asked as he looked himself over before grabbing Issei by the head and lifting him into the air. How about I keep the juice and you keep your life? Ugh, so this is how things are gonna go, huh? Zop. Ah. The thug screamed as lightning shot through his arm before he dropped Issei and fell to the ground. But the flash of light, Issei's right eye transformed itself into his sacred gear and he fired a golden beam and he used it to cut the muscular man in half right down the middle. You brought that on yourself, man, I just want my money. What about you? Issei turned his reptilian eye to the bald thug. You got my money? Monster. The other thug pulled out his weapon and opened fire. Bang. 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 Really? Issei said in a disappointed tone as the bullets were caught by a shield of light before falling harmlessly to the ground. Whoosh. A gust of wind carried Issei forward, where he slammed a fist deep into the thug's stomach. It was so powerful that it forced him to drop his gun in pain before Issei lifted the man up against a wall. Nobody stiff arms me, you got it, man. I need that money, man. If you don't give it to me, you're dead. Oh wait. The thug pleaded. We'll pay you, man. Just let me call my boss and… What? Issei roared. You don't have the money. No. A new voice called out from behind Issei. But I do. Issei turned his head to see a huge muscular man wearing a crimson lecheter mask. He didn't wear a shirt, but his naked body was covered by a swirling tattoo of a red dragon. Issei dropped the thug he was holding and turned to face the massive tattooed man. Are you for real? With the whole lecheter thing? Let's just say it's been done before. Nobody sees the boss face. The grunts yelled at Issei. The boss is above us. The boss is a god. You're annoying. Issei tossed the grunt with a gust of wind, knocking him out. So let's talk about money and how you weren't gonna give me any. Issei said to the massive semi-nude man. Normally I would just up the price, but I really can't let you guys get away with this crap. Issei snapped his fingers and a bolt of lightning came down and electrocuted the other henchman. It's bad for business. Insolent child. The lecheter roared. You think you're above your fellow man, you think you're special. A bright red light began to glow from the man's arm. I have news for you, boy. You're not the only one blessed by God. The boss lifted his left arm into the air, revealing a crimson gauntlet decorated with gold spikes and green gems. Boost. The lecheter's muscles expanded and tightened up before he leapt forward with inhuman speed. The massive man prepared to punch Issei, who simply stood pat. You may be right, I'm not the only one who wields sacred gear. Zap. A bolt of lightning shot down from above and shocked the boss before he could get within 10 feet of Issei. But of all you gear holders I've met doing this job, it looks like I'm the only one who knows how to use theirs. Issei said as his eyes began to glow. Issei fired a light blast at the boss, who punched it with his gauntlet, shattering the attack. Trust me, my friend, I know how to use mine. Boost. 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 He used the gauntlet to create a red energy ball which he pointed at Issei dragon's shot. He let loose the massive scarlet blast. Uam. The blast hit Issei, causing a massive explosion. Okay, I'll admit. Issei called out as the smoke cleared, revealing his body protected by a massive light barrier. That sacred gear sure is something. Hahaha. You have no idea the power of my boosted gear. The boss said with a boisterous laugh. You're not dealing with your average twice critical or any other second tier weapon. My power is that of one of the fabled Longinuses. So you're saying it's valuable? Good to know. Issei smiled before opening his hand and creating a thick heavy mist that flooded the alleyway. Issei used the cover to sneak up beside the massive lecheter before firing another eye blast. Hhhhh. The boss screamed as his severed arm that held the red gauntlet hit the ground. Issei walked over, picked up the arm and ripped the fleshy appendage away from his new prize and gave it a quick look over. Congrats, my friend, you just paid your debt. Issei said as he dropped the bag of H1 on the ground. Pleasure doing business with you. Issei put a friendly hand on the bleeding man before, zap. Issei delivered a deadly shock. Oops, my bad. Issei crouched down and ripped the lecheter mask off of the gang leader and discovered a thin white foam seeping from the man's mouth and his eyes had rolled backwards into his head. Oh, he's dead, Issei muttered as he kicked the large body over so he would no longer have to look at the dying man's face. Well, never mind then. Issei smirked as he picked the drawstring bag off the ground. Looks like our deal's off, but don't worry, I'll take good care of your magic glove thing. Issei said before slipping the gauntlet over his left arm. Boost. A rush of energy surged through Issei as a green glow covered his body. Oh yeah, now that's a rush. H1 has nothing on this thing, it's a total game changer. It's as before Issei could finish, his eyes shot open in pain. Ah. A painful eruption of noise exploded in Issei's eyes before he yanked the gauntlet off his arm and threw it to the side. Ah ha ha ha. Issei dropped to his knees panting as sweat began to drip from his forehead. He pushed himself back up and walked over to the gauntlet. Hell is this thing? Present day. Issei looked over the red gauntlet once more as he pushed back the memories of his old life. And some of this junk I keep around to remind me that the monsters they tell you about in the stories are real. Issei said as he placed the gauntlet back into and locked it up. I haven't been in this room for a long time, lots of bad memories here. Oh Issei, I'm sorry. Asia spoke up, startling Issei who almost had forgotten she was there. I didn't mean to bring up bad memories for you. Please forgive me. She bowed in shame. Oh, no Asia. It's fine. He said as he lifted her shoulders up to look her in the eyes. Sometimes you have to remember the bad times in order to appreciate the good times. Issei said as he began walking to the door. Asia, can you do me a favor and keep this room a secret, just between the two of us? I don't need Riaz or anyone else snooping around when it's none of their business. Asia responded with a nod. Okay cool, let's go get some sleep. Next morning Issei's room. Issei groaned as he rolled over in his sleep, causing his unconscious hand to plop down on something soft. A soft feminine moan cried out from Issei's bed, causing the brown-haired boy to wake up. Huh? Issei said in a tired grumble as his eyes cracked open and he looked down to see something pale and smooth and very soft, slowly enveloping his hand. What? What? Issei jumped out of his bed, his face lit up a bright red as he looked down at the nude, sleeping Riaz. Seriously, Issei screamed as he buried his face into his hands. Riaz stirred awake. Morning Issei. What the hell dude? Issei said as he shook his head violently. You can't just break in here for a sleepover in your birthday suit whenever you want. First of all, I'm a guy. And second, it's illegal. Issei dropped down to the floor panting as if he was having a heart attack. What? I didn't mention to you I was thinking of sleeping here. My bad. Riaz smiled as she sat up, covering herself up with Issei's blanket. And as for you whole I'm a guy argument. This isn't the first time I've decided to sleep here in the nude and you have yet to try anything resembling manliness. Riaz said with a sly grin. What the heck are you grinning about? Issei roared before taking a deep breath and cooling himself down. I'm hungry. Issei pushed himself out of bed and made his way into the kitchen. He flipped the light switch on and discovered a bottle of brown liquid dressed with a red ribbon and paired with a folded white piece of paper. Issei unfolded the piece of paper which read, Howdy Sparky, it's been a while. I look forward to sharing this with you, see you soon, and followed by a pink kiss mark. Rose. Issei thought as he stared at the note before softly muttering. Crap. So what are you making? Riaz called out from the hallway, startling her servant, causing Issei to quickly stuff the piece of paper into his pocket. I hope a single guy living by himself has enough food for 3 people. We may need to go shopping later today. Riaz walked in wearing one of Issei's white dress shirts, buttoned only barely past her belly button, leaving her cleavage on full display, as well as a lacy white pair of Tonga-style underwear to cover her nether region. As soon as she entered the kitchen her eyes were immediately drawn to the bottle of brown liquid Issei was standing next to. Issei. Is that whiskey? Oh, let me check. Issei popped the cap off the cork that kept the bottle closed and sniffed the opening. Yeah, that's whiskey. It looks like it's a gift. Issei said as he pushed the cork back into place and took the bottle and placed it into one of his kitchen cabinets. The gift? Riaz asked as she kept her distance from behind the counter. Issei, do you drink? Riaz asked, trying her best to mask concern. Issei paused for a moment, hesitant to answer as he stared at the bottle on the shelf. Not anymore, he said quickly as he closed the cabinet. Not anymore? What is that supposed to mean? Riaz shot back in a voice that sounded less concerned and more like she was interrogating. I'm thinking more Japanese for breakfast, how about you? Issei changed the subject as he opened his fridge. And wad you know. I have just enough for the 3 of us, but you're right, I probably will need to go to the grocery store later today. Hey Asia. Issei called out so his new roommate could hear. I'm making tuna and miso. Is that alright with you? Issei. Asia's timid voice called back from the hallway as the blonde girl entered the kitchen with nothing but a towel covering her body. Issei, you see, I was taking a shower, but then I realized I didn't have anything to wear. The former nun's face was bright red with embarrassment. Okay, we'll add it to the list. Furniture, clothes and food. It doesn't sound like much when you say it out loud, but it'll probably take us the better part of the day if we're gonna do this right. Issei said as he tapped away at his smartphone, creating the grocery list. Oh, if you're going shopping for clothes, may I tag along? I have a real eye for fashion. Riaz said as she made her way over to Asia. Though I doubt it will be very hard to make you look cute, but I'm sure I'll have fun dressing you up in all sorts of outfits. Yuhi, I leave it to you. Asia said in a timid nod. Great. I promise to do my very best in Asia. Riaz smiled as a red magic circle opened up beneath her and Asia's feet. In the meantime, you can wear some of my old clothes. Issei, I expect breakfast to be ready by the time we get back. Riaz said before they vanished. Oh yes ma'am. Issei said to nobody in particular. Later, Issei's POV. So after breakfast Riaz, Asia and I made our way to the local mall. We figured that it'd be better to pick up groceries on our way back so they didn't spoil, plus Riaz is too excited to be talked into waiting, so we're going to start with Asia's new wardrobe. Riaz seemed to race from store to store only, dragging Asia along with her as she window shopped. I tried my best to keep up with them, but I was a little preoccupied with a piece of paper I stuffed in my pocket. Damn it, Rose, how'd you track me down? I went to pretty extreme measures to make sure no one from back then could ever find me. I moved to a town in the middle of Japan, I enrolled in high school, I traded in my humanity for Satan's sake. I thought this hiding in plain sight crap was supposed to work. Issei. Riaz announced loud enough to finally get her servant's attention. Hello, are you still here? Oh. Yeah, my bad. I guess I was just spacing out. Did you need something? I said to distract Riaz as I crumpled up a piece of paper and tossed it away. I guess I'll worry about it when it comes up. I think we're gonna start with this store. Riaz pointed to an upscale boutique in the mall that sold only high-priced designer clothes. We just wanted to make sure you were okay with paying. I stared at some of the price tags through the window and struggled to find anything less than 3 digits, but Riaz and Asia seemed too excited to back down. Yeah, that's fine, I relented as the girls rushed into the store and I slowly followed behind. Oh, this one's cute. What do you think about Asia? Riaz said as she pulled a pink sundress off the rack to show it off. Yeah, I suppose. Asia mumbled. Well then we better try it on to make sure. Riaz declared as she took Asia by the wrist and pulled her to the dressing rooms, leaving me alone at the front of the store. So which one is your girlfriend? The store clerk asked with a playful smile. I answered with just a glare before pulling out my smartphone to distract myself. Issei, get over here. Riaz called, beckoning me to the back of the store and saving me from this awkward encounter. I stomped my way over to the changing room where Riaz was waiting for me outside. We would like a guy's opinion on this outfit. Riaz pulled back the curtain to reveal Asia dressed in a pink sundress that barely made it past her waist, and her face was flushed red. Yeah, it's cute. I managed to spit out. Really, really cute. Great, stick around to say. We'll be relying on your opinion from now on. Riaz said with a smile as I plopped myself down on a nearby bench. Later at the food court. Riaz and Asia went to get ice cream after a long morning of shopping, leaving me alone at the table to watch the bags and read over the receipts. Seriously? Oh, and we still have to buy furniture, and knowing Riaz we won't accept anything short of designer. Well, at least Asia seems happy, right? Asia shrieked almost on cue as I found her and Riaz cornered by a couple of older guys. They looked to be in their 20s, one had long hair and was wearing a hat, and the other had spiked up blonde hair and a wispy blonde goatee. Hey ladies, are you two here all by yourselves? Why don't you come hang out with us? The blonde man proposed as he draped his arm around Riaz. Yeah, we can show you a good time. Hee hee. The long-haired boy wheezed as he crowded Asia. Hands off, creep. Riaz pushed the blonde man away forcefully but nothing inhuman, keeping her cover up. Now, we don't want to get handsy here. I doubt your friend wants to play as roughly as you do. The blonde man signaled and his long-haired colleague tightened his grip around Asia's waist. Let go please, Asia said as she struggled to free herself but wasn't applying enough force to escape. The two men were hit hard by a gust of wind, knocking them against a wall near a trash can. Whoosh. A third powerful gust knocked over the bin and spilled the garbage all over both of them. With that, I got up and walked over to Riaz and Asia, my eyes still golden after using my sacred gear. I think we better get started on the furniture shopping, we don't want to spend the whole day here. There can be some real creeps that hang out at the mall. I picked up the bags of clothes and began to make my way toward some of the furniture stores at the mall. Asia quickly ran behind me and followed very closely. Well, aren't you just the knight in shining armor? Riaz said as she accelerated to catch up with us, then she grabbed my arm and wrapped it around her own, pressing my elbow deep into her. Thank you for coming to our rescue. Riaz cooed into my ear, getting chills to run down my spine. At night outside Issei apartment building, third person POV. Thank you for taking me shopping, for the most part I really enjoyed myself. Riaz bowed to her servants as they all stood close to the entrance of the luxury apartment complex where Issei lived, the young male devil carrying upwards of 20 shopping bags full of clothing and groceries, and Asia still standing very closely to her new roommate. No problem, are you sure you won't stay for dinner? Issei asked with a welcoming grin on his face. No, I've already indulged myself enough on your kindness. There is also the matter of the club work I still need to attend to. I'll see you both tomorrow when I drop off Asia's school uniform. Until then. Riaz bid farewell as another red circle formed below her feet and she disappeared. How about you, Asia, did you have a good time? Issei asked, smiling over his shoulder at the blonde girl. Yes, despite what happened at the food court I'd say I had a good time. Asia smiled back. Issei lifted up one of his grocery bags. I bought some ingredients to make a seafood pasta, I figured it'd make you feel more at home. That sounds wonderful, but I hope you're not inconveniencing yourself for my sake. Asia said, sounding worried as the two new devils disappeared into the apartment building. Meanwhile, from a shadowy corner to the left of the shining white building, emerged a woman with wavy brown hair, topped by a western-style cowboy hat, also wearing a black choker with a piece of heart-shaped jewelry hanging off of it, a flannel shirt with the top unbuttoned enough to show of her above average, and a pair of blue jeans that she wore high on her waist that perfectly displayed her legs. Howdy there, Sparky, long time no see. When adapting someone else's story, and I believe it's important to establish how your characters function in this new world I'm creating, so I'm going to start doing these character bios before every chapter. There will be deviations from canon, let me know in the reviews who you'd like me to do next. History. Was born in Japan and started his life off like most children with two loving parents and a nice house he could call home. This all changed when Issei was 7 years old and he was revealed to be the host of the legendary dragon god Yunglong and wielder of his golden eye sacred gear. He was labeled as a monster and disowned by his parents. Issei spent the next 10 years traveling the world as a treasure hunter and a smuggler of magical artifacts, and majority of his life during this time is unknown. He is currently a second-year high school student at Kuo Academy and reincarnated devil in the care of Ria's Gremory. Personality. On the surface, Issei appears to be a kind boy, if not a little bit aloof. This is because Issei was not always a kind and friendly person. Growing up without a family, Issei did what he could to survive, even if this meant he had to kill his fellow man. This got to the point where Issei was totally desensitized when it came to killing people. He would even make jokes while slaughtering his foes. Recently, he has tried his best to reinvent himself as a more moral person. This is shown by the fact that he spared the fallen angel Rainer, even after she essentially murdered a person Issei considered to be a friend. He may also suffer from an addictive personality as he struggled with drug abuse in his past and possibly alcoholism. In terms of intelligence, Issei is definitely more street smart than book smart, as he prefers to sleep during class. He is very comfortable thinking on his feet but can be caught off guard with very direct questions that he is not prepared to answer. Issei's goal is to become the most wealthy person in any world. Growing up with nothing, he strives to turn any situation into a means to make money. He quickly learned from a young age that human money is not as valuable as it seems, thus he views the wealth he's already accumulated in life relatively pointless. While one could view him as greedy, he's certainly not stingy, as he's willing to buy gifts and share money with those he considers his friends. Issei is also a bit of a pervert, as he's been known to use his sacred gear to see under a woman's clothing, though he still lacks tact when dealing with women in a real manner, due to him being a virgin. Appearance. Issei is of average height for a Japanese boy his age. He has a lean but toned body. He has messy brown hair, and his eyes are naturally a deep brown, but due to his sacred gear, his right iris sometimes appears as golden. He is considered attractive by girls his age. Abilities. Issei possesses the Emperor's Eye, a sacred gear that is unique in that it grants the user 2 separate abilities, as well as 2 different balance breakers. Issei's first ability granted by his eye allows him to control light to a degree. He can create weapons and shields made of light, as well as fire energy blasts. One of his most devastating attacks fires a powerful energy blast directly from his sacred gear that can melt through almost anything. When he was younger, he tried to activate his light-based balance breaker, but it didn't work for him due to a lack of control. Issei's sacred gear also allows him to control the weather and the elements such as wind, water, ice, and lightning. He can use these elements to attack at range with lightning blasts and blades of wind, or up close using wind to increase his movement speed. His balance breaker is that of a spear with a golden tip that can transform into a variety of different weapons. It allows him full and unlimited control of the elements. He can create tornadoes, hurricanes, blizzards, and floods on a whim. It also increases his overall strength, speed, and magical abilities. It also gives him the ability to fly. Issei recently became a devil, which served to increase his strength, speed, aptitude for magic, and his instinct for battle. Issei is also well skilled with a wide variety of weaponry. He prefers the use of spears or one-handed swords. Fighting style. Issei is not some battle-hungry monster, but he knows that in the world he lives in violence is sometimes necessary, and when it is, he prefers to overwhelm his opponents with massive ranged attacks in order to quickly force them into submission using light beams or bolts of lightning. Issei's favorite way to subdue an opponent is by using powerful gusts of wind to stun opponents, and prefers to avoid the use of deadly force if at all possible. In his younger days, Issei would use lightning to torture and kill his opponents. When Issei uses his storm balance breaker, his style changes to more of a melee style, while still focusing on ending the fight as soon as possible by overwhelming the opponent with speed and power. Let me know who you want next time and want I should add or get rid of. Chapter 8. Minutes before midnight, Issei's room. Issei lay on top of his bed sheet spinning a red ribbon on the tip of his fingers. For some reason this crap is really bothering me. It's not that I don't want to see her again, but I'm not like I was back then, and I don't want to complicate things any further. If she was actually in Kuo she wouldn't wait so long to contact me in person, would she? She was never one to hold herself back, especially if she's trying to make a point, unless she's trying to tick me off. Ugh, I'm hungry. Issei hopped out of his bed and exited the bedroom. Just as he closed the door, a red magic circle appeared on the floor, and Riaz rose from the ground wearing nothing but a white unbuttoned dress shirt and black lingerie. Issei, where'd he go? Riaz paused awkwardly in the middle of the room before taking a seat on Issei's big pillowy bed. She looked around until she got a glimpse of herself in a bedroom mirror. Riaz took a moment to adjust her to better emphasize her cleavage before she began to mimic a kissing in the mirror. Issei, I know. Riaz unbuttoned the rest of her shirt and pushed it past her shoulder before leaning back onto the bed. Hey Issei, Riaz called out in a sultry voice before crunch. Eep. Riaz jumped as she turned to see Issei standing in the doorway holding a bitten apple in his hand. Hey Issei called back in a nonchalant manner of speaking contrary to the crimson shade his face had turned. Whatcha doing? I need you to take my virginity. Riaz let out a fit of word vomit in her very embarrassed state before she laid all the way back on the bed and closed her eyes tight. Well, go ahead, be gentle. Issei stood back shocked to even blink. Did she just say she wanted me to take her virginity? Is she serious? This has gotta be some kind of trick, like a test or something. Riaz continued, her eyes still shut tight as her face only deepened its shade of red. You're the only one I can do this with and I need you to do it right now. Please. This is for real. Issei screams internally. I see, can't. Issei said as he tried to back away, but Riaz was quick as she sat up and grabbed the boy by the hand and pulled him on top of her. Issei, this is really embarrassing for you. You're clearly more experienced with this type of thing, so if you could do me a favor and take the lead on this, then it'll be easier for the both of us. Riaz said as she wrapped her legs around Issei's lower back, pinning his pelvis down against her own, getting the red-haired girl to blush harder. And don't give me any of that I can't crap because I can feel you. Riaz, what are you thinking? We've only known each other for a few weeks, and I get you've always been flirty, but I thought you were just making fun of me. Come on, doesn't you know I got a thing for Asia? Don't tell me she actually has feelings for me. Issei thought as he looked down at his master who was practically shaking. She's terrified. I can't do this, not again. Flashback. Haha, that shit was crazy. Issei said as he and a mysterious brunette made their way into what appeared to be an expensive hotel room, their arms draped over each other and both of them holding bottles of unmarked alcohol. Both of their faces were flushed a bright red. You're telling me? I reckon that boat you crashed was worth 300 grand. The girl, who spoke in a faint southern accent, said as she plopped herself down on the hotel couch before taking another swig from her bottle. You don't think you went overboard? I like Paris. You better not get me kicked out like Morocco. Maybe I was a little overboard, but is that anything new? Besides, it would be worth it anyway. Issei said as he fished out a small pinkish ruby from his pocket. A worthy prize is a decent amount of fun for my last job, am I right? Issei declared as he threw himself on top of his bed. I mean, I guess, we picked up a ton of magic rocks over the years. What's so special about this one? The skeptical brunette asked as she let the remains of her bottle drip onto her tongue. Well, this one's for you. Issei said as he tossed the shiny pebble over to his partner in crime. It's here in France now, but it was originally found in a castle in Germany. It's supposed to help with your condition. Even on the bad nights. The brown-haired girl examined the gem before she set it down on the table. Wow, that's pretty thoughtful. I know. I can be pretty smooth when I wanna be. Issei said as he laid back in his bed putting his hands behind his back. MMMPH. The brunette huffed herself up onto the bed and sat herself atop Issei's abdomen. Are you flirting with me, Sparkly? The brown-haired girl leaned in close to tease the boy. Okay, I get it, quit messing with me. Issei said as he reached to push the girl off of him, but then he got a closer look. Her face was flushed red, and her brown eyes were big and watery due to alcohol. Her top did little to hide her ample cleavage and long brown hair. Whoa, were you always this pretty? Issei stopped at the brown-haired girl said as she looked away in embarrassment, but then Issei's vision began to blur, and he couldn't see much anymore. Issei, stop, I said stop. Stop it, Issei. You asshole. Smack. Huh? Issei snapped back to it as he felt a stinging pain on his cheek as he looked down to see his partner pinned underneath him, her bare exposed, and her eyes were watery. Oh shit. What have I done? I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. End of flashback. Warning, rated R+. I'm sorry. Issei mumbled aloud as he returned to the issue at hand. Riaz, listen, PP. Riaz shrieked as Issei felt a soft comfortingness and a soothing sauna-like heat enveloping his lower half. Ria's grip on Issei's hand intensified and her eyes began to water. It hurts. Issei slowly and very nervously looked down. Blood. Oh shit, I was flashbacking for too long. Ria's, I'm so sorry, let me take it out one. No. Ria shrieked as her legs pulled the brown-haired boy in closer. Don't move so much. But you're making me move. Shit, this is bad. I can't even focus on how amazing this feels because of how much I just ended up. Shit. Issei thought as he desperately shut his eyes, hoping that he could wake up from whatever the situation was. Just as it appeared things couldn't get any worse, another magic circle opened up on Issei's bedroom floor, and from it emerged what appeared to be a beautiful maid who looked to be in her mid to late 20s, with silver hair tied up in long and intricate ids. Oh, I figured you would try something like this, but I didn't think you'd actually go through with it. This may be a problem. The maid commented in a monotone voice. The presence of the third part was enough to get Riaz to release Issei, and the two young devils finally separated. Hello Greyfear, Riaz called out with a bit of venom in her voice. I hope now I've proven my resolve to you and my parents. I don't know about that, but I do know we're going home so you can explain yourself to your parents. The maid said in a powerful yet still slightly caring voice, almost like a mother or big sister. HMPH. Riaz let out a defiant huff before standing up and hobbling over to the glowing magic circle. She's limping, I'm dead, Issei thought as he hung his head in acceptance of his fate. Yeah, you're gonna need to come too. The maid said in reference to Issei, getting the boy's hair to stand on as he reluctantly climbed to his feet. Give it to me straight, ma'am. Issei said as he made his way over to the glowing circle on the floor. Am I gonna die? You can tell me, I won't try to run. I just want to be mentally prepared for whatever happens. Are you gonna die? Maybe, the maid deadpanned. Though it'll probably be quick, so don't worry. With those parting words and a flash of red light, they were gone. Next day, Gremory Domain. Clang. The sound of a tea glass hitting the porcelain plate was the only noise to fill the silent room as Issei shook in terror, alone on an empty couch located on the opposite side of a velvet lavesiad that held a couple who appeared to be in their early 30s. A man with long red hair and a short stubbly red goatee, and a woman with short brown hair, violet eyes and a massive rack, both of whom sat with pleasant smiles on their faces. Well, you must be Issei, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. Riaz has said such nice things about you. I wish she had brought you here to meet us when you were first reincarnated, so we could have introduced ourselves in a less awkward setting. The brown-haired woman said, trying to comfort the clearly frightened boy. I'm Ria's mother, Venelana Gremory, nice to meet you. And my name is Zeodicus, Ria's father. I'm also pleased to meet you. The long-haired man said, keeping up the same friendly attitude as his wife. Wow, they're so nice. I mean, I thought they were supposed to be devils or something. Shouldn't I be being roasted on the spit or something? I've met parents who have wanted to ask my daughters for directions. The whole friendly thing is almost more unsettling than if they were totally chewing me out. Issei began to sweat as he sat silent, his mind flooding with terrifying thoughts. I'm Issei Haidu. Though I take it you already knew that it's an honor to meet the both of you. Issei bowed his head as deep as his abdomen would let him. Now Issei, there is no need to be so formal. We here at the household believe that our peerage members are more akin to family than servants. We want you to feel at home when you visit us. Zeodicus said in the most intimidating voice he'd heard since arriving. Now dear, show some compassion, it's not us. That of him flustered. Ms. Gremory spoke up, getting her husband to step down. He just learned that his master took advantage of his body and kindness to try to get out of an arranged marriage. Young people these days can be sensitive to that sort of thing. That's right, high-class devils kind of view marriage like people did back in the day. Dudes can get there as much as they want, but the girls gotta keep themselves pure till they get married, or else they're viewed as second-hand items. So Riaz is apparently engaged to a guy she really doesn't like and tried to use me to kill her value. I guess it makes sense. Issei said as he slowly raised his head to meet Ria's parents' eyes. I just want to say I'm really sorry for what happened last. I didn't demonstrate nearly enough self-control and… Self-control? Ria's dad pointed out as if Issei were making a joke. Son, we don't blame you for what happened. Riaz is a very strong-willed girl, we should have taken her threats more seriously. If anything, we should be apologizing for what happened. I don't know how any male could have reacted any differently given Ria's appearance and her actions. I mean, you wouldn't blame a starving man for eating a slice of pie that was left out in front of him, much less if the pie jumped on him and was begging to be eaten. Dude, that pie is your daughter, plus I wouldn't exactly say that I'm starving per se. Issei eventually just sighed and gave up. Well, it's a relief to know that you guys don't hate me. Of course we don't hate you, Issei, didn't I just say you were like family to us? Speaking of family. Mr. Gremory began to grin from the corner of his mouth. Is it true that your sacred not only gear holds a divine dragon, but also gives you the ability to manipulate light and your devil body immunity from its damage? Zeodicus was quick to cut to the chase. That's true, Issei said before his ego began to show through. Not only that, it also gives me control over the weather and the very elements. Issei said before taking a proud sip of his tea. Wonderful. The head of the said enthusiastically. Well, if that's true, I wouldn't mind grandchildren with such divine powers in their blood. Issei spit up his tea, making sure to turn his head and not soak his host's. Grandchildren. I don't know what you heard happened last night, but I'm pretty sure I didn't finish. Oh, I know, I was just thinking out loud. Ha ha ha, Hesiodicus chuckled, and his wife followed him with a soft giggle. Issei forced a nervous laugh. Whatever, I guess. I'm just glad I could settle things. Well, I wouldn't say things are completely settled, Issei's dad said as he took a sip of tea. Where they are he. A furious roar came booming from the hallway leading to the den. Well, here comes Riser. If we're lucky, we'll have things squared away in the next few minutes. Ria's mom said calmly as a blond man wearing a maroon, sporting flaming wings, and his face was scrunched up with rage. His eyes finally fell on Issei, and they became almost like scopes locking onto their target. You're dead, he growled as his entry arm became engulfed in vicious red and yellow flames. Burn. He let loose an orb of flames the size of a beach ball. Issei was quick to activate his sacred gear, and his breath became a visible mist. The windows in the living room fogged up, and the fireball slowly started shrinking in size to the point of nothingness as the room dropped pretty close to freezing. Oh, nice reflexes. Ria's father gave stuttering kudos due to the cold. Ria's mother relented as she tapped the brown ice cube in her cup. Rise, you better not hurt him. Ria's called out as she rushed down the hallway, followed by another man with similar crimson red hair who was sporting royalish robes. By the time they arrived, they found Riser struggling to keep steam coming out of his back. The man who followed behind entered the room with a careless smile. Well, it appears that all the involved parties are here. Good, let's talk this out. Later. Okay, as it turns out, Ria's brother is Lucifer. Like the devil, Lucifer, which also happens to be kinda like an elected position more than just a guy. I think at this point I'm just gonna roll with whatever. Though this might not be the best mindset to adopt right now, seeing as I may be negotiating for my life here, but whatever Issei thought is he, Ria's parents, her brother Serzich's Lucifer, and her fiancé Riser Phoenix all sat awkwardly around the coffee table sipping on tea. So Issei. Lucifer addressed Issei, who seemed to stick out like a sore thumb among the others. How would you like us to resolve things here? I'm new here, so I don't think you should be turning to me for advice. Issei said, finally feeling comfortable enough with these weird circumstances to keep himself from freaking out. I would prefer to live personally, or at least be given a chance to make it out of here alive. Okay, now I'll address the other wronged party. Riser, how do you believe we should fix things? Serzic said, turning his attention to the maroon-clad man. Well, my personal opinion is that we should act as though this incident never happened. Riser said rather calmly, considering his earlier behavior. By that I mean we obliterate the garbage and pretend as though he never existed. Then I think it's vital we make haste with my wedding so that I can better control my bride and make sure nothing like this ever happens again. Riser said as he returned to sipping his cup of tea. Well, Ria sat up to speak but was met by a shushing finger from her brother. Rias, you caused this problem, so we're not gonna let you have your way when it comes to resolving this issue. Stop acting like you're a spoiled tea. You need to learn that you're not always gonna get your way. This might be a good opportunity. Serzic stood up, having come to a decision. I propose a duel, and the winner will get to name his terms, and Rias, you will just have to sit back and watch, and then accept your fate regardless of the outcome. Wait. This totally isn't fair. Rias stood up in protest. Issei only just recently became a devil. He could get seriously hurt. Yet you saw him fit enough to mate with Serzic said bluntly, getting Rias to blush. The duel will be anything goes, the loser will be the first to die or surrender. This novice filth against a purebred devil such as myself. Fine, I accept the duel, but I won't give him a chance to surrender. Riser stood up over Issei to intimidate him. When I win, not only will Rias marry me, but I'll get to have my way with all those lovely women in her peerage whenever I please. Yeah, I'm in too. Issei stood up and locked eyes with his foe. When I win, Rias won't have to marry my matches, and the rich boy will buy me a summer house in Honolulu. Beachfront. Issei said with a greedy smirk. Well, looks like the terms are set. Serzic said, and then with a snap of his fingers, the two combatants were transformed into a chess-themed battlefield with a red sky and towering pieces. Let the battle begin. Well, looks like the terms are set. Serzic said, and then with a snap of his fingers, the two combatants were transformed into a chess-themed battlefield with a red sky and towering pieces. Let the battle begin. I wish I could say I was sorry for what's about to happen to you, but that would be a ugh. Riser was silenced mid-threat as he looked down to find a pitch-black spear had impaled itself in his stomach. What? Riser dropped down onto his back. Issei slowly walked over with a cold expression on his face. His normal sacred gear had changed. His iris wasn't a bright gold, rather it was a piercing electric blue. "Sorry," he said, "we could start. I thought you'd be ready." Issei grabbed his spear by the handle and with little effort whipped it over his head. The momentum sent Riser flying off the tip of Issei's spear, causing him to crash into one of the piece-shaped pillars that decorated the area with enough force to destroy it. Grrrr. Riser growled as he pushed himself up out of the rubble. Yellow flames appeared on his and began to close up the stab wound. "So you're a brute who can swing a spear around, so what? It's nothing compared to the power of a high-born devil." Riser raised two hands in the air, creating a ball of fire in each, before bringing them together and creating a torrent of flames aimed at Issei. Issei slammed his spear into and vicious dark clouds appeared overhead, releasing a massive downpour of rain, but the water droplets did little to halt the blast of flames. Issei lifted his hand and water condensed around it, then he fired a high-pressure stream from his palm that blasted through Riser's flames and soaked the high-class devil to the bone and knocked him to the floor. "Ha! What? Is your plan to get me a little? It'll take more than that." Riser taunted as four pillars of ice rose from the ground, encasing all of Riser's limbs and leaving him incapable of movement. Grrrr. Raya. Riser struggled to free himself, but it was no use, he was too cold and to create flames strong enough to free himself. "Do your worst, creature. Us of the Phoenix clan are immortal beings, you'll never be able to defeat me. I'll wait it out if I have to. You'll kill yourself of long before any damage is done." "Immortal, huh?" Issei said as he rode his hand into the air, causing the pillars of ice to grow. "Then there's no point in holding back, nothing to worry about, right?" Issei smirked as he closed his fist and the ice shattered, along with both of Riser's arms and legs, causing his limbless head and torso to drop to the ground, but he was still alive, just as he said he would be. "Ah!" Riser shrieked in terror as he looked at his mangled body. "How dare you humiliate me like this? Do you have any idea how long it will take me to recover my limbs? You'll pay for Thug." Riser found himself once more with a spear through his stomach, this time a mouthful of blood. "You talk a lot," Issei said as he dove the spear into the floor of the arena so that the limbless Riser couldn't escape. Issei knelt down and grabbed Riser by the mouth so he could no longer speak, then with his other hand, he grabbed a hold of the spear and began to wiggle it back and forth while it was still impaled in Riser's stomach. Riser screamed in muffled pain as he stared back at Issei's twisted expression. "Haha." Issei laughed. "I forgot how much fun it was to be with people. Tell you what, Riser, I'm gonna teach you a lesson about not being a total douche. Think of me as the ghost of Christmas future, cause I'm here to scare the living shit out of you until you learn some humility," Issei said as he charged his spear with lightning, shocking Riser from the inside. "I'm gonna tell you a story. A few years ago I thought I was the absolute shit, and kinda like you I figured I could do whatever I wanted to and get away with it because nobody could touch me. Then I learned two very important things. First, if you push someone too far then eventually you will hit a breaking point. Second, there's always someone stronger than you." Issei explained as he delivered another shock from his spear. "You already reached the breaking point with Rias. You may be a pure-blood pretty rich boy, but your personality pushed one of the kindest, smartest, most beautiful people I've ever met to the point where she'd let a piece of trash like me defile her if it meant keeping herself out of your reach." Riser's rage at this comment reignited his fighting spirit as his black burst into flames. "Shut up." Issei roared as the rain increased, snuffing out Riser's fire. "Now I'll use a bit of science to teach you the second lesson." Thunder clouds began to condense over Issei's spear and flashes of lightning danced across the sky. "I'm about to drop a shitload of lightning on this spear and because of the rain and metal, that lightning is gonna travel straight into your open torso. Getting struck by lightning ain't like it is in the cartoons, your hair doesn't stick up and make your skin all crispy. The first thing that'll happen is that this wattage is gonna blow out your internal electric current. It'll fry every nerve in your body, and usually that much pain is enough to cause a heart attack and kill somebody, but since you're an immortal you should be fine, but it is gonna hurt. Next, since you'll still be alive, I'll probably keep the lightning going, and what's next is going to depend on whether or not your in has melted. If it has, then the lightning will travel through the water in your body and probably start to evaporate it, and because of this rain, there's a lot of water being collected in your skin and pores, but all this lightning is gonna cause it to fly off of your body, and that's gonna hurt. Now I'll give you a second to prepare yourself." Issei lifted his hand so that Riser could speak. "Wait. You don't understand how important this marriage is for the future of all devils. You can't do this," Riser pleaded. "Come on. If it was that important then I wouldn't be here. If you don't want to get zapped then resign. You got 30 seconds. Issei said as he put both hands on his spear in preparation. "Wait." Riser called out to the sky above. "Surziches. You won't really let this happen, will you? I'm a high-ranking devil. I'm important. Riser begged but received no answer. Wow, you didn't give up, I'll admit I'm impressed. I won't dare call you a coward, and after I zap you I'll let up on the rain so you can put yourself back together. Issei said as the sky flashed violently. Wait. Riser called out before Issei could use the lightning. I surrender. Riser said as he started to tear up. You win. Later. All of a sudden Issei appeared back in the Gremory family living room dripping head to toe in rainwater and holding his spear. Oh, I'm back. What happened to Riser? Oh, we sent him to the infirmary, he should be fine, but we just want to make sure. Risa's mother explained with her ever-present gentle smile. So this is the balance breaker. Ria's father said as he pulled the spear from Issei's hand but then struggled to keep it upright. Ooh, heavier than it looks. He was eventually able to get used to the spear's weight. Yeah, I used the wind to help me balance it better. Issei explained as he watched in horror as Ria's father was determined to master the weapon with a total disregard for all the seemingly priceless breakable objects that decorated the living room. Zeoticus tried to spin the spear over his head but was experiencing difficulties with its weight. So Rias has told me that your sacred gear grants you 2 balance breakers. Can you demonstrate the one that gives you command over light? Not unless you want your house to end up a smoking crater. Light is much more difficult to control and calling on that much at one time is dangerous. Issei explained as the Gremory patriarch continued to play with his balance breaker. Well then I suggest you focus your efforts into better controlling that power. If you do, Rias may become virtually unbeatable in the raiding game. Zeotica said as he pretended to stab with a spear. Raiding game? Sounds lame, Issei thought as the red-haired gentleman handed him back his spear. Issei deactivated his balance breaker upon retrieving his weapon. In fact, I challenge you. Before you and I meet again I want you to have control over your powers of light. Zeotica said with a charming smile. Wait, meet again? Am I free to go? Issei said, trying not to sound too relieved. Yes, your business here has concluded. Graphia said as she entered the room carrying a fresh set of tea. I'll take you back whenever you wish to return. But there's no need to be hasty. Ria's mother said as she put her hand on Issei's damp shoulder. Plan to have Ria stay the night as there are still a few things we need to discuss and you're welcome to stay for dinner at the least. Oh, thank you, but I think I better be going home. Issei pulled on his clothes for emphasis. I definitely want to change clothes and I probably need to make sure Asia eats something considering I haven't taught her to use the stove yet. I also wouldn't mind catching up on sleep in my own bed. Well, we certainly respect your opinion, it's been a pleasure, Issei. Zeotica said before exchanging a handshake with Issei, who went on to do the same with Venelana. It was nice to meet you, please take good care of my little sister. Surzicha said as he and Issei also bid farewell. Next time we meet I'd like a turn with the spear. Surzicha said with a smile. Sure. Issei said with a nervous smile before making his way over to his master. Well, I think I've earned myself a reward. Issei smiled at his master, making her blush. So do I really have to go to school tomorrow? Ria's nervous blush faded into a smile. Of course, you would really leave poor Asia alone on her first day. Besides, the Occult Research Club has a reputation to uphold and a zero absence policy. So we have class and a club meeting tomorrow. What do you have against my beauty rest? Issei jokes. Well, you probably need it, baggy eyes are never cute. Go home and sleep, I can move Asia's first day back and you can stay in bed because you've earned it. But I do expect you at the meeting after school. Ria said with a smile. Thanks Prez, you're the best. Issei said with a yawn. See you later. Wait, Ria's grabbed Issei by the wrist. I heard what you said during the fight. About how pretty and smart you think I am. If that's how you really feel then maybe we should, I don't know, maybe we could. Ria's Issei said as he put a hand on her shoulder to calm her down. Maybe we can talk about this later. Issei said as he looked around, noting they were still surrounded by Ria's family. I'll see you when you get back. Issei put his arm on Graphia's shoulder and a magic circle opened below his feet. Issei's house. Issei groaned as he was suddenly standing alone in the middle of his kitchen. I need to learn how to do that in Asia. Asia, are you hungry? Issei called out, but Asia didn't answer. I need a drink, Issei said as yesterday's events continued to set in his mind. He opened the kitchen cabinet where he had hidden his gift to find that the bottle was missing. Meanwhile, Asia's light chuckle could be heard from the living room. Issei stumbled into his living room where his eyes widened in shock. Oh god. A brown-haired girl wearing blue jeans and an open flannel top is sprawled out on his couch mid-story with Asia listening with her full attention. Okay, so the whole temple is falling down around us and I'm flipping out at Issei and he's all like, well, how did you expect us to get the sword? So Issei uses his laser eye thing to blow a hole in the wall, but before we can jump out the floor gives out beneath us and we fall into a sewer we had to crawl for miles water and crap before we made it back to Lima and Issei wanted to hurry and meet with the buyer before even trying to take a shower even though we smelled absolutely awful. So our jobs weren't always starry nights in Paris. Oh. Do you want to hear about Morocco? No. Issei spoke up not wanting things to escalate further. Nobody should ever hear about what happened in Morocco, there's a reason neither of us are ever allowed back there. Also in the temple in Peru you're the one who told me to just take the sword. Bet you left that part out. Oh hey Sparky, it's been a while hasn't it? Hope you don't mind, but I helped myself to your present. The woman said as she held up the nearly empty bottle of booze. Thanks for saving it for me. What are you doing here Rose? Issei cut straight to the point. What? How long did we spend working together? Is it really so unexpected that I'd come to visit an old friend? The brunette asked as she sat up making room for Issei to sit on the couch for her. But when I got here you had vanished and poor little Asia was left alone here worried sick. When I woke up you were gone. Asia lowered her head as the experience had saddened her. I checked your room and all I found was a small amount of blood on your sheets and worn panties. Oh you saw that huh? Issei said nervously the truth is that Riaz took me back to her home so I could fight her terrible fiancé and she wouldn't have to marry him. Well that's at least most of the truth. Riaz? That's the name of your new master right? Rose pointed out taking some amusement from the subject. I can't believe you went and got yourself turned into a devil you must be really committed to this whole domestic staying in one place thing you got going. Look at you going to high school staying in an apartment taking in roommates off the street and now you're gonna be sticking around some devil princess forever. You really have changed. She rambled as if she had put a lot of thought into this. Hey are you alright? Issei said, picking up on her strange tone. Huh? Yeah just fine, actually I'm hungry why don't you start cooking us up some dinner Mr. Mom Rose teased. What about you Asia aren't you hungry? Yes I could eat. I would also like to hear more stories Asia said as she looked back at Rose and Issei with hopeful eyes. Sure I reckon we got a few more stories left in us. Rose said, looking back at Issei. Let's pack it up and move over to the kitchen. That way Issei can point things out from his point of view while he cooks us something tasty. Yeah. That sounds like fun. Asia said as she hopped up happily and transitioned over to the kitchen. Did either of you ever do any work in Rome? Every now and then something would come up in Rome, but we usually tried to steer clear if we could. Issei explained. Exorcists tend to make a treasure hunter's job difficult, especially if it's a religious artifact we're after. Plus catacombs are creepy and gross, and you get lost really easily down there. Rose added as the conversation faded out. Later. After the meal concluded Asia went to take a shower leaving Rose and Issei to clean up and catch up. Wow, I didn't even know you knew how to clean a dish. Issei said half-jokingly as he cleared the table. I guess you're not the only one who's changed. I mean it has been well over a year since we've last seen each other. Rose said with the intention of making the boy feel guilty. No call, no letter, nothing to let me know you hadn't just ran off and died somewhere. I'm trying to get out of the business, but you didn't need to wipe yourself off the face of the planet. Yeah I'm sorry about that, but that's not all. Issei said as he picked another plate off the table. For the longest time I just want to apologize one more time for what happened in Paris. Paris? You're still hung up on that. Issei you were drunk and it's not like you really did anything other than pull my top down a little bit. I already slapped you for being a creep, but if you really felt that bad about it for so long, then a note might have been nice, maybe a present like $500,000 if you felt really bad about it. Rose tried a bit of humor that didn't do much to change Issei's expression. I promise I'm not mad about Paris, look I'm still wearing the present you gave me. Rose picked up the gem attached to her choker to better show it off and the same pink gemstone Issei had gifted her back in the day. Is that really the reason you don't seem happy to see me? If so then you're making me feel self-conscious for no reason. Well I apologize for that, but it's not the only reason I've been cautious Issei said, getting to the truth of his suspicions. I just can't stop thinking about how if you can find me all the way out here what's stopping other people we know from finding me. Oh I see now it probably wouldn't be a very good thing if some of our old business partners found out about your little house here or worse, if they discovered little Asia Rose pointed out getting Issei to nod. Well there's definitely an easy fix to your little problem. Just leave and go back to the way things were. You and I have a different job in a new city, a new adventure every day of every week for the rest of our lives. Nobody will be able to find you if you don't stop moving. You're kidding right? Issei said not even entertaining the idea. What about school or Asia? I'm a devil now if I just run off with you, what is Riaz gonna think? She'll think you're a piece of crap a familiar voice peeked Issei's ear, getting the boy to turn around to find Riaz standing behind him with her arms crossed as she took a stance that indicated she was annoyed. Though I doubt that will be an issue. Arias. Issei jumped at the unexpected visitor. What are you doing here? I thought you were spending the night at your parents'. Issei, who is this girl? Riaz demanded, not paying any mind to her servant's previous question. So you must be the master or mistress, I'm not too sure about the terminology. Anyways, I'm Rose. Issei and I used to work together before he moved to Japan. Rose said as she finished off the dishes. Oh well, that's nice. So Ms. Rose, may I ask why you are trying to get my precious servant to abandon me and his responsibilities? Riaz said in a venomous tone, not so much looking at the girl standing across from her. Well, let me just give you some advice as someone who really knows Issei, this whole servant thing wasn't gonna last. One day Issei is gonna wake up and decide he doesn't want to be in this middle of nowhere important city anymore, and the next day he'll be gone. He's stubborn like that. By the time he gets bored with you and all this place has to offer, he'll be 100 miles away. Rose explained, not letting Riaz intimidate her. Oh, don't act like I know him, in fact I know him about as well as a woman could, considering just last night Issei and I HMMFFF. Before Riaz could finish the thought, Issei slapped a hand over her mouth and pointed out that Asia had just entered the room wearing her pajamas. Oh hi Riaz. How was your trip home? Asia asked, not picking up on what was going on. Alright Issei, I have a hotel room across town and it's getting late, so I should probably be headed that way. We should meet up one more time before I head out, I'll be in touch. She said with a smile as she slipped out of my apartment door. Alright Issei, you have some explaining to do. Riaz declared. I want to know all about this work you did with the cowgirl. That doesn't make sense. Issei thought as Riaz grew frustrated with being ignored. Rose would never spend money on a hotel room if she knew I was staying in town. She's even more frugal than I am. She would just force me to let her crash here and pay for her meals until she got bored and left. Issei's eyes widened as he came to a realization. Something's wrong. Issei announced as he bolted down his hallway and towards his treasure room. Once there he got to work quickly on the locks guarding the large he placed against the wall. Issei? What's going on? Riaz asked as she and Asia followed into the messy room. What is this place? Issei didn't answer, he simply opened up the large to find it was empty, the crimson gauntlet was gone. Oh shit. Thanks for watching this video. If you really enjoy this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. Don't forget to support and follow the JCT1345 for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. See you in the next video. Goodbye.